Tell me if you can hear me, everyone. I just realized I'm on mute. Not a good start. Not a good start. Tell me if you can hear me, everyone. I just realized you can hear me in the background too, because I have my phone here playing. So let me know if you can hear me before I start jumping on. Let me know those who are in the chat. I'm always struggling to start these things. Struggling. Good night. Good night. Can you hear me? Bless up, Ernest. Bless up, Tom. Can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I know I had myself on mute. I wasn't on camera. Jason, bless up. Thanks for joining. As you come into the chat, just hit the like button, everyone. Just hit the like button as you come in. Let's make it simple so I don't have to remind you. Good, you can hear me. So I'm going to say buenas noches. Que pasa? Espero que estés bien. Those are the only Spanish words I know, by the way, which means good night. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I took, about 3 years of Spanish in high school and 3 years in college, and I still don't know anything in Spanish. So don't blame me for that. I was focused on other things. But anyway, good night. Thanks for joining me. Glad you're here. As you know, I've been on the channel for a little bit. Took a little bit of a break. But back to talk about a bunch of different things. So come on, join. Let's have some fun this evening. I'll even have a call-in number because I don't know where my next man is, but I'll have a call-in number. And we can have a good dialogue this evening. Jason said, "Yeah, Jason. It's been a long time, Jason. I want to age myself, but it's been a long time. And even though I promised myself I would learn the language fluently, it never materialized actually. And it's kind of funny because in 2014 I did some traveling in Europe, and I was in Paris for a little bit, Spain for a little bit, and spent some time in Italy. And what I was amazed about in Italy was I met a bunch of Africans, and I used to hang out with them in Italy because they're selling a bunch of trinkets and a bunch of like glasses, handbags, and all those things. And by the way, I will admit I did buy some of those handbags because they look real. And I gave them some friends of mine, and I hope they're not watching, but because I didn't tell them they were bought. They're well-known handbags, so you don't really support those things. But the point I was trying to make out with them was this: is that those guys spoke about 5 languages, and I've always thought language is very difficult to learn. Some languages, Spanish is not the hardest to learn, frankly, but some of those guys, they all spoke at a minimum French, Spanish, English, Italian, and their native language, their native tongue actually. So they could be someplace in Africa. It may not be the traditional European language like French or Spanish or something like that matter, or Italian. But they were great to talk to, great to hang out with. And by the way, they love them some Jamaicans because I see I'm from Jamaica, and they wouldn't stop talking to me. We had a great time actually when I was there. So it's all good to be here talking about a bunch of stuff tonight. We're going to talk obviously we're here to talk sports, but as you know, a lot of times I digress and talk about other topics. And I think that came up to me, I was thinking the other day, and you guys know my views on the whole thing about quota, which I may get into tonight. Given what happened with the under 20. And it's something, as you know, I'm very passionate about and talk about quite a bit. But it's going to be interesting going forward to see how that works itself out. But I was thinking, since you're here in Jamaica quite a bit, that the reason why we have players from overseas who may do better than local developed players is because of resources, access, things of that nature. The question that jumps out to me is that would it be interesting if people from the diaspora were given the chance to run Jamaica? So you get rid of all the people who are leadership roles in Jamaica, and you bring people of Jamaican heritage in the diaspora to go and run the country. I wonder if it would be in a better place. And frankly, if you look at the accomplishments of people from Jamaica outside of Jamaica, whether it's in Europe or in the Americas, it's amazing what them and their offsprings have accomplished outside of Jamaica. So if you take all that intellectual capital and mold it and disperse it back to Jamaica, I'd be curious to see how the country would function. Because it'd be an interesting experiment to undertake, given how well people from Jamaica who have migrated and have had offspring, how that would have done. Bless up, Doklan. Bless up, Kevin. Thanks for joining. Be really interesting, actually, across all aspects: business, politics, health, banking, all of those disciplines and areas. It'd be really interesting to see how that community of intellectual capital that you could tap into and port them to Jamaica, how that would work out. I bet they probably would do as well as or better job than the people who are in those seats today. But I'm not sure we'll ever know, because I'm not sure. If you look at what the we saw in the Constitution for the JFF, where they require you to be domiciled in Jamaica 10 years. Part of the JFF, they set this up really well so they can continue that monopoly. And actually, in some aspect of Jamaica, I mean, if I was reading something the other day where Siaga wasn't born in Jamaica, but he became prime minister for a while, or opposition for a while, and prime minister. So they should create more chances for people to come back and help the country, frankly. But we're here to talk sports tonight. But as I say, you guys know I jump around quite a bit, talk about different things. The first topic tonight is going to be around today's biggest news to me in the football community was Klopp's communication that he's going to resign from Liverpool at the end of the season, which I found really interesting. I think Klopp has been a breath of fresh air to English football. If you remember when he joined Liverpool 9 years ago, they were floundering, frankly. I mean, they did, well, I shouldn't say they were floundering. They were struggling for a while. Brendan Rodgers came in. They did really well. Could have won the league when Gerrard slipped, actually, played against Chelsea. And I think it was Demba Ba, one of those players who went in and scored. And the next game they played against, who was it? Crystal Palace, and got slapped after leading. So they had a chance to win then and didn't. But Klopp came in, steadied the ship, and that should have aligned with the acquisition by the team from the US, the private equity team from the US, who bought the team. And they have been on a really good ride since then, right? He's won the Champions League. He's won the Premier League. He's won about 7 or 8 trophies. So, there's always a debate about who is the best manager ever. A lot of people say it's Ferguson, given what he's done in England. But frankly, if you look at the accomplishments of Guardiola and Klopp, they're in the upper echelon. Think about people in that top tier who are world-class managers, elite managers. Klopp is up there. And I think one thing I love about Klopp, actually, because I always thought he was better than Guardiola, to be frank. I think Guardiola picks teams. He's very smart. He only picks teams that's going to give him a chance to win titles. So, he came into Barcelona B system, did really well with the Iniesta, Busquets, Messi teams, then took a year off, took over Bayern, never won Champions League with Bayern, but won the league, which everybody else does, for 3 years. And the year he left, I forgot who took over, but they won the Champions League. And when he took over Man City, they had won with Mancini and also won with Pellegrini. So, and he struggled to win the Champions League because he tinkered too much, frankly, even though a lot of the years he had the best team. So I do think that Klopp had to work with less and probably did more. And Klopp has learned as he came in, right? So if you watch Klopp's first team when he first came in, he bought some players who didn't have the best resumes or names, like the Manes of the world, the Salahs of the world, molded them. And he was a pressing team to the point where when the season was half over, his team was dead. They couldn't recover. But what he did subsequent to that was he had a much more measured way of playing, still pressed, but a more managed press of playing. So if you look about style of play and system of play and different stages of play, it was interesting how he played, which is his build-up phase and the different phases he has when he creates and when he finishes, along with how he played defense. He was never a low block team. He was more of a high press team, but then he sort of managed it better over time to allow his team to be able to enjoy an entire season and not be burnt out by the end of the season. So much due to Klopp. I just realized he's only about 56, so really interesting, actually. He looks like he's about 70, by the way. I hate to say that, but he's only 56, 57. He was born in 67, so still young enough to go manage another team. And he said he won't manage in England again. So maybe go back to Germany, maybe manage the German national team, but brilliant manager. Ricardo says Tapa is the best manager, Kranky. In football, because I heard some discussion on Manny's Man program today where the great T-Got, or I should say the loud T-Got, was doing a comparison between Guardiola and Speed. And Rudolph has done really well in Jamaica, frankly, utilizing very young kids and still win the Premier League. So Rudolph got to get his kudos as to whether Speed is better than Guardiola. We'll never know, frankly, because he hasn't a chance to manage that level. But I would dare say Guardiola is most people who have Guardiola's managed, I basically said he's improved them, right? De Bruyne said it, all the players who played him say it. And Guardiola is very, very ruthless, actually, as a manager. So if you look at his team and players who played for him, even though they've done well, he has no problem getting rid of players. Whether it's back to the days when he had the Henrys and the Ronaldinos and the Eto'os, he has no problem getting rid of players. And more recently with Zinchenko and with Jesus and with Sterling, he just turns them over. And he has his favorites, though. If you think about the Messis and the Iniestas, or more recently with the De Bruynes and maybe, those players, he has his favorite. Gundogan, he has his favorites and Silvers, he wants to keep certain players, but he makes some assessment at some point about who he should keep and who he should get rid of. So really interesting in terms of how he operates. As you come into the chat, people, please hit the like button. Don't be stingy with the likes. Just hit the like button when you come in so others can watch the program or be prompted to watch the program at some point. So kudos to Klopp. 9 years at Liverpool, be leaving end of this year. Well done. An asset to the Premier League. And I'm sure he has a bright future going forward because he'll be a manager in demand. And he said he's going to take a year off and he will never manage a Premier League apart from managing Liverpool again. So we probably will not see him in the Premier League. Now to another topic, and I have a bunch of topics tonight, people. On 2 subjects, by the way, football and cricket. Or as people in America say, soccer. Second is around the FA Cup roundup. There were a couple of games today of note. I won't talk about every game. Chelsea played Aston Villa. Decent game and drew 0-0. And City, as they normally do, a last-minute grab beating Tottenham. And I thought Tottenham was very good, by the way. I think Tottenham is really one of the surprise teams this season. I think Tottenham and Villa are probably 2 most surprise teams this season. They've shown it in the FA Cup. No matter who's playing for them, they're playing well. Even though I think Villa use more of their first team, Tottenham keeps switching players around and still doing well. And in the EPL, if you look at the standings, Liverpool are 5 points ahead at this point. But Man City has a game in hand. We have Arsenal with 42 points. And we have played 21 games. City has played 20, Liverpool 21. And then we have Aston Villa in 4th. I think Emery has done a wonderful job. Obviously, we had Emery at Arsenal. His biggest problem was he couldn't speak the language well. And that's very unforgiving in England, even though, frankly, most English people can't speak more than one language. Very hypocritical, frankly, of people who speak English, believing that everyone should be able to speak their language while they only speak one language. But English is probably one of the most dominant languages in the world. And actually, most people speak English in some respects. If you go to China, there's 300 people learning English. even though their language is not English. Obviously, it's Chinese, between Mandarin, whatever they speak. So interesting, but I do think that the Premier League is going to be may not go as people think. Actually, Tottenham will have something to say about the ultimate top four. I do think it's a 5-team race for top four, whereby I don't think West Ham, even though they got Calvin Phillips just joined them, will be able to get into the top four. But I do think, because I don't think they have enough firepower up front. Antonio's injured, Bowen is injured in and out. I think Kudos, who has played in various positions, been brilliant. Bringing Calvin Phillips with Alvarez is good. But we'll see what happens, actually. I think their defense probably still need a little bit work out wide. But West Ham is a good position. But I do think it's between Arsenal. And by the way, I will make this an Arsenal program. Arsenal have got Partey back, right? He's been in training. He's been running really well. The only problem is, will our coach play him in his regular position and play Rice in the 8? Because, frankly, Partey is a better player than Rice. No matter what the English people may tell you. Rice is a brilliant defensive player. Doesn't do a good job of transitioning the ball to get it up to the forwards quickly enough. That's part of it. Between Partey and Xhaka were brilliant last year doing that. Rice and Havertz have not done a good job of doing that, actually. And that's why we sort of struggle a little bit. But it should be interesting, actually, in terms of see how that goes. But I think it's a 5-team race. Bless up, Champ Dex. Thanks for joining. And again, as I remind each of you, as you come into the stream, just hit the like button. Glad you could join us. We should be having a really good conversation tonight, actually. And I will have a call-in number, by the way. I'll give it out after I finish my little soliloquy. I'll give the number out if I can find it. I know I have it here someplace. And by the way, it's an 876 number, and you need to call the WhatsApp line. Don't call the regular number, because you won't get me on that regular number. It's an 876 number, and it's a WhatsApp line. But we'll give it out if you want to call in. And I see Gunners Bars in the chat. I mean, knows him love talk, so I know he will call it. If at least one call will get in. Jason saying Jorginho is way better than Rice. That just can't run. Yes, he is in terms of, if you watch the last game, Jason, that ball he played into Martinelli to get him behind the defense. Rice doesn't make that pass. Jorginho, and the few times he has to really get a chance to start, he makes at least one or two of those a game. So definitely agree with the ability to play the ball between the lines and get to the forwards in dangerous position. Rice doesn't have that in his locker. Partey and Jorginho does. But if you talk to anyone in England, they think Rice walks on water. Good defensive player, lacking offensively, frankly. But we'll see how that goes. In terms of the African Cup of Nations, a lot of the regular teams that you'd expect are in the next round. I won't go through them. The Nigerias, the Cameroons, the Ivory Coast. Maybe the two teams that dropped out, which one wouldn't expect, are three. It's Algeria and Ghana, for example, have not done well, which is surprising. You would think they would have done better. Ghana obviously missed Partey, who was their captain. But they were leading 2-0 in their last game and gave up 2 goals in the 90-plus minutes. So didn't deserve to go through. But I would expect that the competition will get heated now as you're in the knockout phase. And it's being shown much more now than it was previously in previous years. I do think people in Europe have this sense of arrogance, like, players shouldn't go to that tournament and they shouldn't go play and they're affecting their team and they pay their salaries. But I hear no such complaint and crying when we have the Euros. Given the Euros is not played during the season, which is part of the problem people have with the African Cup of Nations, or their championship. But I do think it's a little bit hypocritical to expect people not to want to play for their country. But when your players are playing for your country, everyone should just acquiesce. You should be happy. So it's the arrogance of the Europeans, frankly. And I think the tournament's been decent. I've watched a few games, not in totality, but I think it's been a decent tournament. So I'll probably watch more games now as we're in the knockout phase, because I normally don't like to watch a lot of those first round games. But I think one of the better games coming up is what? Who's Nigeria playing? Is it Ivory Coast or Cameroon? One of those. And I heard Eto making some of his comments, and I basically called him a moron because he, as a head of a country's football administration, some of the comments he made were distasteful, inappropriate, and a fireable offense as far as I'm concerned. You know, some of the kids who were born in another country who decided to come play for Cameroon, which is their heritage, and you're chastising them because the team didn't play when I'm saying it's their fault, basically, as if the local players who play for Cameroon also didn't play and also didn't do well. It's amazing to see the hypocrisy, which we have in Jamaica, by the way. And I think I heard Manny's man say he got some calls about that from some of this more xenophobic, nonsensical people in Jamaica who have some of that same perspective, which makes no sense. And frankly, it's very uninformed, very parochial, very xenophobic, and not something that should be even listened to, frankly. Those people with that mindset just need to go away. Don't want to hear from them. Don't want to be around them because they're stupid, basically. And if you don't like what I said, too bad. Get over it. Stupid. No one should be talking about, oh, you know, you shouldn't play for the country. If you're a citizen, and I keep saying this all the time, if you decide someone can be a citizen of your country and they meet the qualification, they should be afforded all rights and citizenship, all rights and privileges, of that country. Otherwise, change the citizenship criteria. Or don't make anyone citizen who weren't born in your country, if that's how you want to feel. And frankly, then you won't be a citizen of the United States or any other country when you migrate, if you do migrate. But it sort of doesn't make any sense, actually, to even listen to those people or tolerate them, because they don't make any sense. When you're a citizen of a country, you should be treated accordingly. And if you qualify and have the ability and the skill set and the mindset to play for the country, and the coach believes that you should be part of their squad, then what's the argument about? Go. And by the way, I'll touch upon this, which is, I did see the score with the under-20 played against Trinidad. Really interesting. They lost to Trinidad. Wow. Trinidad, which has been struggling for a while. And by the way, as it comes to Trinidad, when Trinidad played the local Jamaican players, I think it was last year, 2 games, one in Montego Bay and one in Kingston, they won one and drew with one. Yet, when a team comprised of Jamaican citizens, not just locally born, play against Trinidad in the Gold Cup, what happened? They got destroyed. I think we should be more appreciative of individuals who are Jamaicans and not those who were born on the rock or who live on the rock, frankly. And those on the rock who mess up the countries anyway shouldn't be listened to because they have no sense. Sorry. It's very annoying, frankly. You can hear the annoyance in my voice when I talk about that. But I do think that I'm looking forward to the upcoming Nations League to be played in Arlington in the Cowboy Stadium. I must say, as you guys know, I bought my ticket and I just booked my hotel. And I haven't booked my airfare yet because I was thinking about how do I get there? Do I drive, which is about 20-something hours? Do I take a train? I've been looking for a train with a private car, and I must admit, I can't find one. I'm not taking the bus, so I guess I'll have to fly. I'm not happy, even though the plane prices keep going up and up and up. Because when I fly, I don't like to fly just in basic economy because my legs are a little bit long, even though I don't think I'm that tall. I like premium, and I keep checking the prices, and they keep going out of control. So I guess I have to buy my plane ticket maybe sometime tomorrow or soon, frankly, before the price get out of control. But I'm looking forward to the games. I'm actually going to the semifinal and the final because there's a third place game. So hopefully we'll make the finals. Either way, we're going to play. So I'm going to try to be there for both games because I did buy a ticket for both games. But I'm looking forward to it. And I'm hoping that a lot of people, whether they're in Jamaica or in the US, will come to the game and create a block of support for the players because the players have done their job in getting there. We need to do our job in going there to support them. I know people can watch the games, whether they're on Paramount or Sportsmax, whatever, but there's nothing like being in the stadium and the players hearing your support and hearing you cheering them and giving them that buzz and that vibes and that energy, frankly. Because sometimes you play football, you're tired and you get that motivation because of the support. So, we're in a position to do that, and we should try to do that. So my hope is that we turn out in our thousands to go to the game and support the players. And then and also we have the Copa America, which I looked into before for tickets, and some information I got wasn't accurate because the tickets seemed overly expensive. Hopefully that will change, and we'll get prices that are reasonable. I was talking to a colleague of mine at work. He's from Ecuador, and even Friday he and I were talking about going to the Ecuador Jamaica game, because Ecuador has been doing really well. They have exported a lot of players to outside of Ecuador, and their youth team have been doing really well in South America. So he's very confident. But I think if we can have the team we have now and supplement them with a few more quality players, that we should really be able to compete with them. So I'm looking forward to it, actually. It should be interesting. And hopefully I can go to some of the games. But that's not a definite yet, actually, because you got to fly out west. And I only fly if I have to, not just to fly's sake. I don't like flying, as I've said before in a number of times. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we had the World Cup draw. Well, I know people are getting excited about the draw, but this is just the first part of the draw, right? So if you think about the World Cup qualifiers coming up, which is going to be hosted in 2026 by Mexico, the US, and Canada, obviously there are three slots have been taken because each of the host country gets to play in the World Cup. There are 3 other slots for the winners of the groups subsequent to the first round set of games. And then I think they get to play some other teams for the 2 best finishers. But we don't want to be in that conversation. We just want to win the current zone we are in the first round games, which is, I think we have Dominican Republic, Guatemala, and the winner of the British Virgin Islands and the American Virgin Islands, whatever they are, U.S. Virgin Islands, I should say. So we're a team of 5, a zone of 5 teams, us being one of those teams. People are pretty confident about us getting out the zone. I think we should, and we want to win the zone. So when we get to the next round of games, we're the top qualifier in that group. I would say the top teams across CONCACAF, apart from the 3 teams that are hosting the World Cup, would be Costa Rica, Panama, and Jamaica, with Honduras somewhere there. And then you have the El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, and Trinidad. And you may have some surprises in, say, Suriname. But I would expect that we should at least win our zone in the first round of games for the qualifiers, and then be able to, in the next round, which is sort of the final round in a sense, one could say it's the second to final round, given that the teams who finish out the top 3, the best finishers, we get to play a game, that we could win our zone and just walk into the World Cup, and when we get there, be able to compete. So it should be interesting, actually. But we should be in a good place. My concern is about injuries. So no matter how much you plan and how many players commit to play for the team and how many players are doing well, you can't account for injuries. So hopefully the injuries, we don't get the injury bug, and we get a chance to do really well in those qualifiers. Because I no matter what the prices are, so I'm gonna start saving from now, 2026. I'm going to if Jamaica make the World Cup, I'm going to the Jamaica games, no matter where they're being played, and find a way to get into the stadium. So I'm definitely going. And I will go to all the games that Jamaica is playing, not just 1 or 2 games. So I'm sure you get a minimum of 3 games. I'll find a way to get to all the games. But hopefully they play in the same location. I hate when teams have to be traveling quite a bit, like Midwest to West Coast or vice versa, or to East Coast. If it's in the same vicinity and location, it makes it really easy to just go to the games, enjoy the games. And I think if we do make the World Cup, I think we'll go a good showing of ourselves. We'll give a good showing, because I think there are a lot of players, at this point in our history as a country, there are a lot of kids of Jamaican parentage in the US who are coming of age, and a lot of them who are outside the US, mainly in the UK. Well, I should say the US and Canada, but mainly the UK, who really want to be part of the Jamaica football team and national program, actually. But you think about somebody's 1 or 2 generations and still feel that affiliation, association, and want to be part of the national team and part of Jamaica and its culture, which they, by the way, where they live, they listen to the music, they eat the food, they engage. And given that we have all these social media platforms, they get to engage much more than way back when in the 70s and 80s when you didn't get a lot of information, right? You didn't have these mediums to be able to engage and get real-time information and be at that association with the island. So it's a really good thing, and we should support that, promote that, and ensure that we get the best players who are citizens and have passports and qualify to play for the country, and stop with the nonsense xenophobia thing. So hopefully that'll be the case. The last two things I want to touch upon is this, which you said outside football, is one is, so I'm a bandwagonist when it comes to cricket, right? I'm a full supporter of the football program. I watch other football games. I don't peek and watch. I watch it fully, but I peek and watch cricket. So I was watching the under-19s play when they played Scotland the other day, and they won. And today they played England and beat them by 2 wickets. I do think the kids are very talented, but their batting is indisciplined, right? They get out just the strangest ways. They don't have problems scoring runs, by the way. If you look at the games you have played, they lost to South Africa in the first game, and then they beat Scotland and beat England. They don't have problems scoring and scoring quickly, which is just a way West Indies play because we lack patience, frankly. And we don't turn the ball over. We don't try to get the 1 and 2 runs quickly to keep the ball over, to keep the strike over. We tend to just want to hit 4s and 6s. But I thought they played really well today, and I'm glad they won their game. And hopefully that continues because they have some talented players there. And hopefully those players transition into the West Indies cricket team. And then the last thing on cricket is, before I open the line, is West Indies against Australia, where they got destroyed in just over 2 days in the first test. But West Indies does this. In this test, they started off batting very poorly. The lower order did really well at bringing them up, getting over 311. I think I watched, because it's hard to stay up at 11 o'clock here and watch the game, but I did watch some last night, and I think the kid, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Is it Sinclair? The kid that made 50, batted really well. But when he hit a 6 and a 4, he got out after that, playing a really bad shot, going down the wicket and not showing what he wants to do. And so that was disappointing the way he got out. But I thought he did a good job, and Roach got run out, actually, which also wasn't cool because there was no reason for him for Sinclair not to run. Because Roach went halfway down the wicket, fell, couldn't get up, obviously. Sinclair could have made that, actually. So miscommunication there. But I thought they did really, really well in making 300 against a very potent Australia fast bowling team. I don't think Lyon was that good, their spinner. But then West Indies did a brilliant job of restricting them to just 55 for 5. And West Indies does this. They whet your appetite, whether it's their first inning batting or bowling, but somewhere along the route, they collapse, right? So 55 for 5, I think it was. And then in Australia make what? 289, whatever the number was. When they're like Cummings making 60 plus, and Cummings is not no batsman. So somehow I think West Indies lose concentration. Maybe it's the way they bat and they bowl. Because you can't have them 55 for 5 and have them make, if they had bowled them out for like 100, they would have had 200 runs lead. So you only had to make another 100 in your second inning because they're not making 300 last day on that pitch, frankly. I thought the pitch was good for batting when I saw it last night, but obviously West Indies fast bowlers between Joseph and Roach, both Josephs, got something out of the wicket. So it was disappointing to see that we didn't restrict them in their first inning when we give us some cushion. But we'll see. We're at 13 for 1, so hopefully we'll bat well in this second inning. And then our bowlers actually have been doing really well. Hopefully they can bowl them out. So the team that was given zero chance by all the pundits and experts and commentators seem to have done a good job in the second test, not the first. So hopefully they do well. So that was my soliloquy on football and on cricket. And I thought it was going to be half an hour, which it is. So I'm good at my time. So I'm going to give out the number now. If you want to call in, if I can open this phone, please do so. I forgot that I have to use my thumb to open this. Please do so we can talk about anything that's on your mind. The number is 876-496. I'll drop it in the chat. 3147. So let me drop the number in the chat. So if you so choose to call in, you can do so. Again, it's 876-496 and it's 3147. Hopefully it works, by the way. So this is the call-in number. I just dropped it. 876-496-3147. If you're calling, call via WhatsApp. Don't call the number directly, especially those people are calling from outside Jamaica. Call the number on the WhatsApp, and I'll be able to entertain your call. So it's good. So let me see what comments are here in the chat. By the way, I have a question for you, actually, by the way. So I've been thinking about that, actually, for those in the chat. And by the way, as you come in, people, please hit the like button. Don't just come in and not hit the like. We want as many people to watch these programs as possible. So please hit the like button when you come in, so others can see the program and listen to you calling in, or check the comment section about and some of the perspective that you have on different things. But I want to hear a couple of things from you. One is, who are you picking to win the Premier League? That is one. What is the predicted score for us playing the US? Because I think that's going to be an interesting game. We play the US in March in Dallas, Texas. So who are you picking to win the Premier League, and who do you believe, what do you think the score is going to be in that game, actually? Do you think we have enough to beat the US, or do you believe that it's going to be a rough night for us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear your thoughts on that, actually. I think it's going to be really interesting when we play them, if we have a full team. I know we're missing Gray and Nicholson, who are out because of yellow cards. And hopefully I'd be curious to know who we're getting in the center forward slot. I think I heard Manning's man talk about Burke training and recovering. But I know that we were bringing a new forward. I can't remember his name. We're playing League One. The question will be part of this. I know Jamal Lowe is still part of the program, even though he hasn't come in the last window. He wasn't here. So we'd love to get a perspective from you as to what your thoughts are concerning that. But let me know who you pick to win the Premier League, and also your view on the score for us versus the US. And do you think we'll give a good game? And what are your thoughts on that? Dre is saying rough game versus US. Yeah, and their team, the US is exporting more and more players overseas, which is interesting. If you look at their team, most of their team, at least the first team, play overseas and play in the higher leagues, actually, not just play overseas. Their entire forward line, Weah, Pulisic, Reina, Balogun, look at their midfield with Adams and others, they all play outside and play some of the top leagues. So they're tough not to crack. I don't think their defense is the best. I think Robinson's been very good for Fulham, but I don't think their defense is the best, actually. But I think offensively, they're very potent. Even though we did play them well in the Gold Cup, but that wasn't their first team, to be honest. And we have to definitely be honest about that. Their first team is a much more potent team. And their potency, you can see when they played against Mexico, for example. The US seems to have had Mexico's ticket. And even though Mexico has a lot of players, like Jimenez and Alvarez, all playing overseas in the top leagues, some of the better leagues, the US sort of walked through them when they played them, which is really interesting. They've had a ticket for a while now. If you look at the teams in CONCACAF and their progress, Mexico was one time way ahead of most of the other teams, but teams are catching up. I think Mexico has come back to the pack. The US and Canada have made significant progress. Costa Rica is the team they had before is getting old. They have some younger players coming through who are good players. So I'm interested to see how they sort of work out for them. Panama has been consistently good, but hasn't been able to crack that top bracket. frankly. They did so for a little bit, but they're hovering around there. And I think us, Honduras, someplace there, trying to be in that elite group. But I do think we have enough players across the globe. If we recruit well, and if our coach play the system that fits the players and their capability, that we should be able to do well. Yes, I was referring to Ernest. Yes, I was referring to Devonta Cole, actually. I know he got his papers, but didn't play in the last round. So we'll see if he comes in. Look, there are other players out there with much better pedigree of Jamaican heritage who I think we can get, like a Cameron Archer. I know some of those kids say we want to play for England, but they won't play for England. First of all, if you're a forward in today's play in England today, until Harry Kane retire or loses form, you're not starting for England. As Tony's finding out. I think Tony made a bad decision not coming to play for us. And if Kane is around for the next World Cup, you're not starting for England. He's starting. Reminds you of when Ian Wright to play here. We had Shearer and Fowler and those players, Sheringham. You're not starting. You're like, and you used to have Andy Cole then, like 5 strikers. And Cole is scoring tons of goals, Wright scoring tons of goals, but Shearer was the prize person. Fowler was a deadly finisher. So you're not going to be starting if you're Tony, for example, or if you're Ollie Watkins. So some of those players should have chosen Jamaica, frankly. They've got much more game time and much more prominence, and no one was going to call them names if they don't do well. So not sure why they don't want to do that. But people can call in now. It's 876-496-3147. If you want to call in and we can talk about any topic you want to talk about, we'd be glad to do so, frankly. And if you don't call in and we can't have a conversation, I'm going to have to tune out. Go to my bed. Well, I'm not going to my bed this early, frankly. But love to hear what conversation you want to have. But any topic that you so choose. So, Kranky, is this information based on communication you've had with Manning's man? Dre, anywhere there? Any conversation I've had with Manning's man, which is deemed confidential, will not be communicated in this forum. And first of all, Manning's man don't tell me anything. If I call him, he would be like, hey, Kranky, why don't you wait and see what happens? Or, hey, Kranky, I don't know. I know as much as you. He's like, well, how would I call him? He's like the CIA when it comes to secret. Well, I won't say the CIA because they give the Trump and he's brought it out in his mansion down in Florida. But Manning's man don't tell me anything. He refuses to tell me anything. Now, either he doesn't know or he doesn't want to disclose it. Or he's doing the right thing, which is when you have certain roles in life and someone tells something's confidential, it should stay confidential. So I have no problem him not being able to tell me certain things because, frankly, if his job requires him not to disclose certain things until it's disclosed to the public, then I have no problem with that. So, no, it's not based on anything that I know. It's based on me speculating, Dre, if you hear me talk about that. Now, sometime a little birdie will call me. You know, there's somebody in Jamaica who talks about over the fence and birdies. I'm going to use those same terms. Sometimes I get a prompt about certain things. But even then, if I get a prompt, it's not deemed to be confidential. So most times I should say, actually. So I'll disclose what is not confidential, but I will not disclose something that someone says should remain accordingly. Even if they've told other people, they told me, and I've stayed in my workplace too. If I've been told something is confidential, then it stays that way. Even though if something is known by more than one person, to me, it's no longer that much. It's not that confidential, frankly. Especially when it comes to football. There's a bunch of other people who knows. And I assume the reason why Klopp disclosed him leaving is because probably more people knew about it than should know, and he realized it was going to go into the public domain. So he made sure he broadcasted him leaving Liverpool. And that's not the way it is. We just try to keep these things as confidential as possible. And as much secret as possible. But sometimes circumstances forces you to disclose these things. So again, people, the number is 876-496-3147. If you want to call in and talk about any topics that's on your mind, would love for you to do so. And I see.
Kranky, I heard you were calling my name.
I was being asked if you gave me information. I told him you don't give me anything.
Good night. It sound like Dre want to move his correspondence and hire you for the job because he's the only vlogger who was a correspondent, you know.
Well, Dre is he's the one who break the news,
Yeah.
breaking news.
Yeah, you know, he breaks only particular news because
He breaks no news. He breaks no news.
oh no, what he means, he breaks it to the Jamaican public who are unaware. He actually does that.
Oh, okay.
So it's already broken everywhere else, but many people don't know in Jamaica. So he you know, he breaks it.
You know, Jamaicans probably know as much as other people around the world because they follow these news closely. You know,
Yeah.
very closely, very very closely. So how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing good. I'm glad that Man City defeated Tottenham today.
Yeah, it was a good game actually. I think Tottenham has been very
I think
very
Tottenham
good.
was robbed though.
Why?
Wasn't that goal didn't shouldn't they have gotten a goal when they said the keeper was interfered with?
That's something that's becoming more in football. So here's what I say about football. Football has gotten better at being, like a better word, innovative, right? So, and Arsenal has been doing this. I think people copy from Arsenal, which is you put a player on the keeper. It's up to the defense to have a player bring over their defenders to force that player off the keeper. So Diaz stepped in front of the keeper, blocked him in a sense. Did he intrude upon him? Did he prevent him getting to the ball? He sort of stood his ground. The keeper wasn't strong enough to move him out of the way. And the ball fell, and Ake, what he did against us, by the way, and he missed the goal, put in the net. Almost similar thing. The ball bounced, and he just hit in the net. So you can call interference, depends upon, it's subjective, right? You may call it interference, someone may say it's good play. So
Okay. And what about the ruling over between Genk and Anderlecht? You think I don't know if you spoke about that.
Could you tell the audience what that was about, actually?
Okay, so there was a penalty for one of the teams. So when they took the penalty, the VAR, the penalty was saved by Schmeichel. The player who scored the rebound, they said he was encroaching. So they were saying that the kick should be retaken. But further inspection showed that there were other players from the defending side also encroaching. The team that they gave it as a free kick in the end, the team lost the game, so they have ordered a replay.
Yeah, so if we're to order replay in any sport where a referee made a mistake, some sports will still be running. If you watch NBA games, and especially NFL games, they must make mistake on every play in NFL games. Holding on the offense, holding on the defense, holding in the secondary, interference in the secondary. It's amazing, man, when you see it.
Yeah, but what about when it's a clear violation of a rule, though?
No, you don't say man. Clear violation. That's why the NFL changed one of their rules in a playoff years ago when New Orleans play, and it was a clear interference call. They didn't replay the game or the play. They just went to the next year and they changed the rule. So you can change the rule, but you can't replay. Man, you know what you're saying? So should they replay the Liverpool versus Tottenham game?
They should replay Arsenal versus Fulham game when the ball went out, because that could cost them millions. You know how much money you're losing, Kranky?
Man.
What if they get relegated?
Man, you cannot. You get rid. They happened 2 years ago when Villa stayed in the league, when the goal was scored and what's the name of the line system didn't say it was a goal. Villa should have been relegated. When Grealish was playing for them, the ball went over the line. They didn't call it, and Villa didn't lose the game. You have to go with errors are part of the game, and so you should just get over it and move on.
Yeah, the errors are fine, but where the ruling by the official is
all VAR mistakes are ruling mistakes. All VAR mistakes are some kind of ruling mistakes.
I don't know. It's just like in the NBA. If you're supposed to take 2 free throws, Kranky. Right. Big up to my Knicks anyways, who blew out the Denver Nuggets.
Yes.
Last night, we're now 4th seed. Now looking like we can even do better. I'd love to get a big man. I know they're looking at Olenek, I think his name is, because
we don't need a big man, man. We need a 2 guard. We don't need a big man.
Yeah, we need somebody to replace the points of
Arkansas. We don't need a big man.
Well, Robinson is out for the season basically.
No, they say he may come back then.
And
they've been going back and forth on that.
yeah. But yeah, so let's come back. Where say you are supposed to take 2 free throws, and whatever reason, the official only give you 1, and you end up losing by 1 point. I think that you don't think they should play over that NBA game.
No. What NBA does actually, man, they do have some look back. So if you shot the ball and it was supposed to be a 2-pointer, you were given 3, or vice versa, they'll change it if they noticed it subsequent to that play. But you can't go to the next when the game is done. And so we're gonna do with the bettors, man. So I bet when you're gonna do with the bettors, you're giving back their money. You want chaos. So the people bet on the game, right? Who lost their money? You gonna give them back their money when you played over? What are you gonna do in that case? I mean, there's so much implications of those games. You can't do that.
Yeah, but the bets are not paid out immediately. I knew someone who bet and won from in last year and up to now they haven't received their monies.
Wait, Jamaica?
No, in the US, like they won like close to 2,000 US.
And what happened?
Like apparently the company sent by check. Whatever happened that they like.
You sure it wasn't the JFF? You sure it wasn't the JFF?
This whole payment of the whole betting thing. I mean, and they have to wait until they get back the check and all of that because the information they put on the check was wrong for the person. So they had to wait until they get back the check to ensure that the check was cancelled before they sent some other verification. And I mean, it has been close to 3 months and they have not received their monies.
That's a logistical problem.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if the bet don't get paid out, that means you can actually replay the game before you pay out the bet.
No, man, that's set. There's no replay of my money. There's no replay going to affect my money that was determined before. There's no such thing. I've never heard that before. That I've heard of continuing the game from the point, like, you know, it's the 79th minute and somehow they play the last 11 minutes or 12. But I've never heard you're going to replay the entire game.
You know what I think they should do?
Mistake by VAR. That's crazy.
I think they should remove this whole VAR thing to what? You know what I believe? No, man. Here's what I think how VAR should be used. I think it should be left up to the coaches, just like in the NFL, where you say, "Listen, I challenge that call."
No. The NFL has VAR.
Yeah.
The NFL has VAR, and they use VAR in the NFL. All scoring plays are checked on replay to make sure it was appropriate. Right? You see that all the time. In addition to the challenge you get, you do have VAR in the NFL or something equivalent.
Yeah, but you don't believe if Arteta had 2 challenges. I don't think it would have worked because even the Fulham Kranky, there's no way you can convince me that Fulham ball was not outside. And it could end up costing Arsenal a league.
VAR looked at it. VAR looked at it and they weren't convinced. VAR looked at it for Fulham. VAR looked at it for Newcastle. They weren't convinced. So we can't say, I don't think we're going to change anything. I think VAR is the right approach. I think they have. Here's the problem. I said it before, management, and a couple of programs. One of my friends in England too, by saying the one set of people. And I've said this numerous times. We're all English are the referees. Everybody else is a mixture. The players, the owners, everybody's in the game. Includes a lot of the managers. They take the best across the world to play in the league, except for the referees and
yeah. I don't know, but I mean, I think like
exactly. They don't replay games.
Yeah, you know what I think? Though I think what Klopp is doing is similar to what didn't Pep take a break from football as well?
Took a break for a year, came to New York and hang out because nobody knows him in New York.
Yeah,
and then went to Germany. Yes,
Allegri took a break.
Yeah,
after Juve, he took a break because they were saying come to Arsenal. He took a break. So I think Klopp deserves a break.
Yeah, look, I mean, yeah.
Ancelotti had taken a break at one point as well.
Or was he giving a break? Zidane have taken a long break, but I don't know if Ancelotti took a break of his own volition. I think he probably was giving a break.
Conte took a break as well.
When?
No, man. After I left, I think Chelsea or Tottenham, he had job opportunities and he took.
No, no. There's a difference between me firing you and you say, you know what, I'm going to take a break versus you just leaving the job to take a break. Tottenham let him go because he was of what he said. They're going to let him go anyway, but he decided to leave early.
Somebody's asking why you agree on his break. Because I think in life you have to refuel. You have to refuel. I think sabbaticals are important. That no matter what you do in life, everyone needs to take some time to refuel and refresh.
Recharge. No, I agree.
Recharge,
yeah. I agree. I think it's a very intense game, right? The pressures people understand about how managers operate. If you're doing your job really well, you're working 10, 15-hour days, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. Your family don't really see you. It's tough, and you have no off season.
There you go.
Yeah, you have no off season.
Yeah, unlike the players, you probably really, like I say, you don't have any off season because you're either in the whole trying to find planning out for the next season. So I think like the top coaches, they need breaks from the game, just to even help with their own development and growth and thing.
No, I agree with that.
I think Arsene Wenger should have done that.
No, he couldn't have done that. He's a football junkie. That's not part of what he does. I mean, right now he's involved with FIFA, right? So Arsenal is a football.
Yeah.
So I'm sure all our rivals love Klopp taking a break. Oh Lord. But maybe you go back to being a real Liverpool in the Premier League you were before. No, Klopp is a really good recognize. He recognizes talent really well. As you see with some of his players, and he molds them really well. And people love playing for him, right?
I think that is the issue I have with Arteta. I have not yet seen where Arteta in his 3 years so far at Arsenal. I can't put my hand on something and say, look what Arteta has done with this player.
Oh, you mean the players? He has spent a lot of money.
Yeah,
I want to make a point, people out there, before I forget Manningsman. So there were some publication by Deloitte talking about the richest clubs in football, right?
Arsenal is 10th in some present list, right? We have a caller, Kranky. Let's see.
Yeah, they're 10. They had Real Madrid 1, Manchester United 2. So let me just say this, people, and you can look up the list on YouTube. I'm very disappointed in Deloitte in terms of how they phrase this. The amount of money you make in a given year doesn't make you the richest person in anything or the richest club in anything. Let's talk about what they call turnover, what we call in the US revenues or income. It doesn't make you the richest. You could make $1 billion, but you spend 1.1 billion. That means you're in the red for 100 million. That's ridiculous for them to phrase that way. Yeah. They should say what it is, which is good night.
Hold on. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. You're live on the air on Kranky time.
Yes, my name's good evening, Kranky.
Bless up, Mr. 50-50.
Right?
Yes.
Hope
is
you
this 50-50?
And Manny's having a yes. I hope your Manny's having a wonderful new year. But listen,
I decided 50-50. I have decided 2024 will be my best year ever. That's my New Year's resolution. So go ahead.
Yesterday, right? That Jurgen Klopp is leaving at the end of the season, and the fact that he was actually the big news challenger to Pep Guardiola over numerous years, and he fell, I think, on 2 occasions. Just by 1 point, and now that he's stepping down, we don't know the next manager, right? But with the guy from Brighton's out here. Now, seeing that Jurgen Klopp is stepping down, what would be the expectancy of Arsenal for next season and seasons to follow? In terms of, are you the chosen one? Are you guys the chosen ones to stop Pep Guardiola and this Man City team? Do you believe in Arteta moving forward to put a stop to City and win the major title? Because you guys won't be winning it this season.
Man, you want to take that question?
I think he said Kranky,
I would agree that I don't think we're gonna win this season. I don't like Arteta set my team up. If he plays Partey, Rice, and go ahead. Go ahead.
You answer. You're the spokesperson for Arsenal.
Okay. Yes, I'll answer.
But you're the spokesperson for Arsenal.
No, we're not winning this season. Will we be the team that take over from Klopp? Liverpool is still a good team. They may be bringing Xavi Alonso to be their manager, who has been unbeaten in Germany this year. So I don't think Xavi was a former Liverpool player, former Real Madrid player, very good football knowledge, exhibited by his performance for where he is in Germany. So I would think they continue that trend, frankly. And Klopp is leaving them in a really good position because they've refurbished their team, right? They have brought in a lot of midfielders to replace the Fabinho and the Hendersons of the world. And some of these players have the same potential or better potential. And people like Curtis Jones have really improved. So, no, they're in a good spot and probably should still challenge City. We will improve. We'd have to get a striker and a couple wingers to back up or replace the ones we have. But we're gonna be good for a while. We spent a lot of money. We should be good for a while. But I think Liverpool will be up there just like us. And Chelsea, by the way, will get better. And so will Tottenham, who have a really good coach. And he's showing really well in his first year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, I think the idea that if Klopp leaves, Liverpool is not a contender anymore is crazy. Why? Because Liverpool, I think, of all the clubs, have probably the most potent offensive grouping in the league. When you consider the Jota, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Salah, Gakpo, that's 5 players. I don't think there's any other club that has 5 players of that quality up that side. I don't even think City may have a Haaland and a Foden, but who are the other players up there? They have other players in midfield, but all of those guys are really wingers kind of forward. Which team in the league has that? And those players are not going to leave. They're still going to be there. Which team? Not Arsenal, because if Saka goes out, there's really no replacement over there. Check maybe Chelsea. And the Chelsea players are they haven't proven themselves yet. Madrid has not proven himself. Who is Nick Williams is his name? Those guys have not proven themselves. So I think Liverpool, and Kranky spoke about their midfield. I don't think Klopp leaving changes Liverpool's fortune.
I mean, listen, they went 30 years without winning the title, right? And they had a major trophy back in Rafa Benitez winning the Champions League, right? And that was about it in that time period. However, with Jurgen Klopp leaving, he's also leaving with his team of coaching staff, and I think the sporting director is rumored to be leaving as well. Well, not rumored, it is confirmed that he's leaving at the end of the season because he held a close relationship with Jurgen Klopp. But listen, you have an aging Virgil van Dijk, right? Who's had the team since what was it? ACL injury. We've heard the rumors about Salah leaving potentially to Saudi Arabia, which I think this even looks more likely, or maybe even a Real Madrid or one of those clubs, because they will have the cash to spend. I don't think Salah at this moment in time. You can physically see that he's coming to the end of it, and he probably want to get the last big contract in his career.
Explain that to me. How is Salah coming to the end of what?
When I say coming to the end of his career, you can see that he's losing.
Losing what?
No, I mean couple yards of pace. That's what I mean.
Really?
He's refining his game. No, some man, you don't see that he's refining his game. When you reach that age of 30, 31, you start to refine your game. Not as fast as whatever, but you start to pick up better positions.
I don't think Salah has slowed down. I don't think he's any slower.
Listen, I'm not saying he's going to retire next year, so no. I'm saying he's refining his game in terms of, how he was electric at one point a couple seasons ago. Yeah. He's more effective and efficient now. That's what I mean.
But he's still electric. I can't.
No.
What are you using?
50-50 and Mannings. Salah will not play for Liverpool next year.
What I mean, Mannings, yes, he's electric. But when Firmino and Mane was there, that electrifying front, I'm saying, he no longer has that. I'm saying he's more efficient and effective now. The
No,
older
it's more.
the
It's more.
older
It's
you
still
look
as,
at the
it's still
likes
as
of,
effective as he. No, it's still as effective as he was
And
before.
that's what I'm saying.
He may be a little
I
more
don't think
efficient in terms of how he can. How
But the quality around him, he doesn't have Firmino and Mane. He doesn't have that kind of potent front grouping with him anymore. So he has to change how he plays. But that
yeah, that's what I mean, man. I'm not knocking him for how he's playing.
no, but you say
That's
he's
that's
coming
the
to
point
the
I'm trying
end.
to make.
No, man. What you were saying first is that he's
Yeah,
coming to the
coming to the end, in the sense that he will be looking to move on from Liverpool to get that last big contract, because we heard the rumors last summer, and it looked like a move was on because the Saudis were coming in really hot. They had the money and they wanted him. But with Jurgen Klopp leaving now, I think he will just move away from this project, especially if they win the Premier League this season or even a quadruple. And he look for better things to finish off his career. That's what I'm saying. So going forward, I don't think that this Liverpool team, especially depending on who the manager will be, I don't think they'll be the chosen ones again to challenge Manchester City. I feel like it has to be Arsenal in a sense in terms of what you guys have at this moment in time and what you
which
guys
team you
can
support
add
again? Which team
to
you
further
support
the team.
again? 50-50?
United.
I thought you support two teams, 50-50.
Listen, pertaining to United, right? I don't want to take up the show, but you said that we got Omar Barreda from Manchester City, right? One of the top guys. And I must say the race is
Hold
not
on.
for the swift and the cranky.
Does he play? Does he play?
50. May I ask you this?
So
You just get one of the top guys from Manchester City.
No, he's talking about administrators.
man,
He's talking
but
about administrators. Yes, front office, from the front office. Yes.
bad
Huh?
man, me said, you know.
Yeah, no. They have got a top guy from the front office. Yes, they have.
Okay.
They must have paid him a lot of money
He's-
because, yeah.
He's a major key developer into the success of Manchester City, to the point where even Pep made some comments about him being bitter. So him coming into United, I won't say that it will be successful overnight, but once we can implement the infrastructure and this type of stuff, then
I will tell you this. The player who I think has struggled at Liverpool because of injury, I think he's at full fitness. He's just as good as Salah. He's a player I rate. Maybe I'm wrong. It's Diego Jota. Diego Jota is that player that anytime Liverpool play Arsenal and he's fit, I am concerned from his days at Wolves. But he's just been injured. If Diego Jota get fit and Salah leave next year, I think with Diaz on the other side, I think Liverpool will be just as deadly going forward.
No,
well,
I think the player with the most potential for Liverpool is Nunes.
Huh?
I think there's still many inconsistencies within the front three. Luis Diaz is not a prolific goal scorer, a prolific player in my eyes, you know, and he's always in and out due to injuries. Diego Jota has recently started picking up a lot of injuries as well, and Darwin Nunes is, you know, I think he's a talent, but he needs to get better, which he has done good this season. But as a striker, you want a striker to be prolific, you know, so he has to step up to that forefront, especially if Salah leaves next season. But all I'm trying to say is, I was just asking the question of the expectancy of Liverpool fans, as well as, do you guys believe that Arsenal will be the ones to challenge Manchester City after Klopp leaves? You know.
So what about so you are saying you're saying as a Man U fan, do you think that Manchester United will be challenging City next season?
No, definitely not. No.
Okay.
Because we still have a lot of inconsistencies, you know, in terms of Onana. Listen, I don't know where we get this keeper from, but if nobody knows any taxi service, give me the number so we can drive him back at the airport and send him back.
So you believe that if you have the here in your goal, the team would be playing better?
No, it's not about the team playing better now. The manager spoke about players coming back from injuries and how the team will be exponentially better, which I don't believe. However, the thing with Onana is that what I don't like with people, especially in personal life, in people that I meet, is when I meet someone that has a know-it-all mentality and approach in life, I don't tend to mesh with them. I feel like Onana has this know-it-all approach where whenever he comes under criticism about his game, he knows it all, you know.
But
he doesn't take criticism well.
Onana isn't Onana. For Manchester, let's look at stats. Isn't he one of the top in terms of clean sheets this season in the league?
I'm not sure at this moment in time. I know
Yeah,
that
He is. He's ranked in the top 5.
At this moment in time?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, well, he's not one. Okay, he might be ranked in the top 5, but I'm watching the games as well as Mr. United and Coach Minzy and all these guys, respectively, right? We're watching the games and we're seeing the ability of Andre Onana, especially his shot-stopping ability.
Do you know?
You saw the AFCON game recently?
No. We're talking about his Premier League. We're not going to AFCON. In the Premier League, do you know that David Raya from Arsenal has caused more points for Arsenal this season than Onana for Manchester United in the league? And we are still...
Has lost you guys more points?
Cost us more points, yes. Mistakes. In terms of mistakes, the mistakes of Raya has cost us, Arsenal, more points than the mistakes, the points that the mistakes of Onana has cost Manchester United in the league this season. And we are still ahead of you. So your problem is just not Onana.
Where you see this?
I can tell you how many points he has cost us in terms of games that we lost because of mistake by Onana.
No, is this a fact or
of course it is a fact, I'm telling you.
Your observation.
No, it is
Is it a fact in your observation or by the Premier League?
So go and check I'm telling you, so go and research it, you'll see it. That our goalkeeper.
I'll take a look into
So let me tell you, in terms of errors that have led to goals, David Raya has cost Arsenal, they say 11 points. Onana, I think, is at either 5 or 6. That he in the league, and we're still way
5
more than
or 6,
either 5 or 6, and we are more than 5 or 6 points ahead of you. So then he's not the only problem. That is the point I'm making. So while he
I didn't say it.
But when you talk about Manchester United, you only brought up one player.
No, hold on, but I didn't get into the rest. I told you that there are many inconsistencies within the team, so that doesn't mean I'm speaking about Onana only, but I'm starting from there because I feel like he's a major issue into this team.
So do you have any other major issue in the team except for Onana?
Definitely Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford is a major issue. You'd sell Marcus Rashford.
You know, Mannings.
Listen, asking.
listen, Mannings.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trolling me at this moment. We had this conversation before. You talk about how we take Rashford at Arsenal because listen, not because they want to have one good season last year, mean for the man is this prolific player. No, Mannings. Mother sell the man tomorrow.
50-50. 50-50. You know that the top clean sheets in the league, Jordan Pickford and Allison have 7. Onana and Raya have 6, and then you have Pope and Johnson. So
I'm telling you, Onana is up there.
Clean sheet.
Yes, but would you say that stats doesn't always trump?
I agree, but I think you guys are looking at Onana, who keeps against Galatasaray and gave away goals, and using the entire. We talk about Premier League, but if you look across his entirety in terms of Champions League, he wasn't great in the Champions League.
In the Champions League, he wasn't great, but in the league,
it's very hard having this because I'm telling you guys that this man is not good enough at his ball playing ability. It is fine, yes.
His ball playing is exceptional. It's not fine. It's exceptional. His ball playing is exceptional. You can't dispute that.
But his shot stopping ability.
He can do better in that department.
Even
you're breaking up, Paula. You're breaking up.
You're breaking up 50-50.
In his goal. Why is he vacating his? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm saying. Now, why is he vacating his free kick instruction to his teammate? That sound like somebody stable in his head.
What? Why? What? I didn't hear you. You're breaking up.
Does he sound like some? You know what I'm saying? In the AFCON game, right?
But you're going to AFCON, we are talking about Premier League, though.
Yes,
but in AFCON, he has a don't use AFCON as a don't use AFCON about with Onana. He has a major problem with his coach. They don't like each other. They don't like each other.
Remember, they didn't even have the money in the World Cup thing. Remember that?
He left the World. No, he wasn't in the World Cup. He left. Because he followed with the coach. They don't get along. He flew private jet to go to AFCON and he got benched because the coach said he can't come and overnight and play the next game. So I would use AFCON as anything to judge Onana. I would use more Premier League to judge.
Listen. You want to the AFCON? No, man. You have to use everything. Champions League, Premier League, as well winning Spurs. How can a country be first? That's not prioritizing the country. And at this moment in time, they have a right to drop.
No. The point I'm trying to make is this: is that he went to AFCON not in the best situation. He was trying to be loyal to Man Utd. He's trying to support two masters, and it wasn't working. He flew there in private jet overnight or within a day of the next game, which wasn't smart of him. He got benched the first game. He played against a very good Senegal team, and then he didn't get to play the next game. So I'm not going to blame him for what's happening there. I would say he's made some really bad mistakes against teams when he played for Man U. But he has 6 clean sheets this season, which is out of about 21 games or 20 games. So he's not been that terrible. He saved penalties, and he's brilliant playing the ball off in the back.
No, I'm not saying that. He would take him at Arsenal. You know, all I'm saying is that he is not the only reason why Manchester is the way they are.
He's not worse than Raya. He's not worse than Raya. He's not worse than Raya. Raya hasn't shown the ability.
Right. This Ronaldo guy, right? He was at Global Soccer. Right?
Hey, 50-50. Give me the person you borrowed the phone from.
Yeah, man, 50-50. I'm going to take a next call and see because you're breaking up. We're not hearing you.
You're breaking.
So let's see if we can get the next one and then you try and call back because I don't know. Somebody try and call. Let's see if it is 50-50.
Yeah, get the phone bill before you come back.
Yeah, because yeah.
Can't hear you.
While I don't believe that he's the greatest goalkeeper, but the Manchester United downfall was from the season before. So Onana is not the only problem with Manchester United.
Look, Man U has more problems than Onana.
Exactly.
They need an entire team. They overspent they bought Anthony for 80-something mil when his market value was 25 mil. They overpaid for Onana about 50 mil. They overpaid for Højbjerg about 60-something mil. They overpaid for Casemiro when they paid 70-something, was worth more than 30. They overpaid for everybody.
Mason Mount. What? All right. Who is the biggest?
They paid 50 for Mason Mount, who wasn't worth more than 30.
Is Onana a bigger disappointment than Mason Mount? What has Mason Mount done?
Mason Mount has not been disappointed because he hasn't played. Mason Mount was not. I wouldn't have bought Mason Mount. He was poor for Chelsea the year before. Just like when we bought Havertz. You know, we can't say anything because we bought Havertz.
Well,
between us and Manny, we gave Chelsea 115 million pounds to help them with FFP when we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And by the way, management, we haven't seen a lot of activity in the transfer window because FFP is starting to bite management. Everybody overspent the previous year trying to make top 4. And now FFP is kicked in really hard, and no one wants to be like Everton, who is again in FFP trouble along with Nottingham Forest. So, very interesting time. And by the way, I mentioned Deloitte before. Deloitte is one of the top 4 accounting firms in the world, and they, on an annual basis, do valuations of teams and also come up with the revenues that the team make in a given year. And I worked for them for a while, by the way. I worked for Deloitte for a while.
Yeah, but let me just say this: so Chelsea, they are in the final of the cup, right? And they have
in the League Cup, yes.
In the League Cup, they have Aston Villa to play in the in a replay. I think that game will be played at Villa Park.
Well, they play today. I'm not sure where they play today. Did they play? I can tell you.
Yeah. So the fact that they are not even contending for top 4 right now, you could see Chelsea in the finals of the FA Cup and the finals of the League Cup, which means that they're getting back
Villa
players.
Park. Villa Park,
yeah.
Next game.
Yeah. So the thing is that Chelsea going to be in and around there. Yeah, you understand me? Pep has been hinting at leaving City as well. So who knows? Maybe he goes to Girona and run run that side over there with his brother.
No, when they get relegated, he'll leave. He'll leave when they get relegated.
You believe that they're going to actually? What would they do? are they going to go back and give teams titles? Are they just going to take it?
No. They're gonna relegate them.
You
If they
believe so?
lose all those number of charges, if those charges materialize and they affect those charges, they're gonna get relegated.
Because their level of relegation will go below the championship because the amount of points that they will be deducted.
No, they go championship. They go championship. I mean, if you think about it, it's what they call financial doping in a man's man. So what they basically did was, just like how Newcastle is struggling, you have to have you can't use your own money to build your team up and to buy players, right? You have to use the revenues you generate
From the club, right?
Players. And what they did was they created this whole concept of we have sponsors, when really they created some fictitious company and then through another company use their own money and say they're sponsoring the team when it wasn't a true sponsorship.
Okay.
That's how they got to this. And that's what they did. So in essence, they're trying to fool the that's why you hear UEFA come out and said that they should get relegated, and the UEFA chief is making these derogatory comments about them.
The guy stepped down.
Yeah, the UEFA person, who was a lawyer, by the way, for 25 years. But he come out and basically said that they were guilty. And even though the courts of arbitration allowed them to, or CAS allowed them to get away with what they did, because there was some time lapse involved, they're guilty. They're guilty.
So the question is then, we have heard about the Krankies putting their monies into Arsenal that the fans have been complaining about, and they said that the Krankies put their money into Arsenal. How come they are not? So if you're saying that an owner cannot put his own money in the club, or they can put it up to a certain amount,
right?
How does it work?
So what happens is, most of the money you don't put your money into the club per se. You use the revenue. You're allowed to have a significant amount of loss over a 3-year period. I think like 170 something million or whatever it is. They got some allowances during COVID to see they can incur more loss than they normally would because of what COVID created for the teams. But you're only allowed to have a certain amount of loss over a 3-year period. So what's happening now is that it's coming home to roost, because when you look at your books and realize loss I'm going to have this year, the year before, and the year before, and going forward, how do I match up to that 3-year window of losses? And it's accumulative. So if I violate it this year, I could violate next year because it's additive. Yeah. It's a continuum. That's what Everton is facing, and that's what is happening now to a lot of teams. Arsenal's situation was they got the Adidas deal. One of their revenues came from sponsorship, between what they got from Rwanda, what they got from Adidas, what they got from gate receipts. What they got from all these revenue sources and shirt sales and merchandise sales, it's allowing them to spend how much money. They're in loss situation, but they're not exceeding the loss that they allowed on the FFP. What Chelsea was doing was, people don't realize, so here's how this worked, not to get too technical. So if I bought Mudryk for £100 million, I know they bought it for 80 something, let's say for 100 million, right? And normally it's for either a 4-year contract. I would have to take 4 out of 100, which is 25 million, against my revenues over a 4-year period, right? So if I made 100 million in revenues and I bought it for 100 million, 25 million of that I made, because a 4-year contract would go against the revenue. So I would not have 75 in revenues, right? I used to pay salary and everything else. What Chelsea was doing then is giving me a 10-year contract. So instead of taking 25 million against my revenues, I take 10 million, because 10 into 100 versus the 4 into 100. So I have 90 million now to spend versus 75 million to spend. Chelsea was trying to beat the system by being cute.
By giving longer contracts.
Giving longer contracts, so I have to take less expenses against my revenues, right? Because people believe that when I buy something for 100 million, that's all I spend. That's not how it works, actually. Cash out the door doesn't mean that's expenses. It's a different concept. It's accounting rules, whatever that entails. That's why Chelsea was playing that game, which catch up to you at some point on the road, man.
Yeah, because if you give these players some of these long contracts and they are not good, like Madrid, what are you going to do?
Well, just stuck with them. Right? They got to go buy more players, which add to the number, right? That's the problem. So that's the problem you run into, which people don't seem to realize. And that's why the EPL is sort of close that loophole that they have. I think you can give more than a 5-year contract now. So Chelsea, but Chelsea also signed off on this because they already have the benefit of it on his back. So they say, yeah, bring the rule in now. We already benefited. But for Arsenal, I think we have spent a lot of money. The problem we have is this Manning fan. So Chelsea has done a good job of selling players like Mount and Havertz,
yeah,
to help to negate some of that output that they've had. We give away our players.
Yeah, because on the Granite
Jack we sold for 50 million, Mannings, man.
No, nobody. I think it will be the highest sold Arsenal player, Alex
40.
Archer, yeah.
40, 30 something 40.
Yeah.
We're at 25. We don't send nobody over 40 million.
Granite Xhaka left for how much?
About 18. The issue with management is when City sell people, City sell Zinchenko for what? About 30 something mil. They sell Jesus for about 50, Sterling for about 50. So and Liverpool does the same with Firmino, with Henderson, with Fabinho, with Suarez, back to Coutinho days. So they have a lot of money coming in to net against what their outlay is. So on a net basis, they're not close to valuing FFP. We're not in that situation.
That is why I think they missed out on selling. There was a time when Nathan Ainsley was up for 40 million and people and they turned it down. I think they should have sold him.
No, it wasn't 40. It was 20 something from Wolves, actually.
Yeah, they should have sold him.
Yeah, they should have sold him.
Right? It's just like Eddie, somebody want to pay Crystal Palace want to pay 40 million for Eddie Nketiah. Yes, you have to sell him.
I think you should bite their hands off for that. I think you should bite their hands off and take the 40 million.
Yeah.
You're glad to get it. Yeah. I don't know why that would not be the case. Eddie is not going to get into the first team while Jesus is there. Jesus needs competition. And that should occur. Bless up, Rockford. Thanks for joining us. As you guys come into the chat, please hit the
I saw Gunners Boss have up something up there. When you say that those are the richest club, is it the value of the club that you're talking about?
Yeah, no, he's talking value. I don't know how you compute or how you determine the richest clubs in football. I don't know what that means. If I say the richest man in the world is what's his name that owned Tesla, right? That's his name on Tesla.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. That is based on all his assets, the value of all his assets, right? So all his shares in Tesla, in the space company that he has, that net amount, or you say if I say Buffett is worth 80 million, that's the value of his company, is the value of Real Madrid. So what do the accounting firms or the valuation companies value them at? And what valuation method do they use to value them? It's not their revenues. It's basically what they're worth, actually. Man U's a better chance to value Man U because they're on the stock exchange. So you can use their public share price to help value them.
Yeah, I would be surprised because I think Arsenal owning the Emirates, you understand me, debt-free in terms of that. Always have the... I think Arsenal probably, when you look at the assets of the Krankies and stuff, I don't know how they're not in the...
Assets of the Kranky has nothing to do with the value of the club.
Okay.
If it was the case, then Kranky would be probably fourth or fifth. If you think about the league, the Newcastle owners, the Man City owners, who else would be up there with the Krankies? Not a lot of people, you know. The Kranky may be third. They're more than the Glazers. They're more than Chelsea owner. They're more than Tottenham owner. Kranky's maybe third. If you take the Walton money, Kranky money, they may be third in terms of richest owners in the league. But the Middle East money is probably the richest. But there's some rich owners there.
But let me ask this, because you know that there is an Miami-based group that is trying to take over Everton. I think that 7-7 partners.
Yeah.
And they have just like pumped an 13 million into Everton. I think that moves up the amount that they have given Everton as they try to take over the clubs to 160 million. All right. Now, when that money goes in, does FFP still go against them?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with FFP.
So even though they are getting money to offset some of those things, they're still going to be charged by FFP.
FFP is all revenues and expenses. How much do I make and how much do I spend, basically? That's nothing to do with you put money in. That doesn't help you in FFP.
Okay, all right. We have Gunners Boss online. Welcome to the show, Gunners Boss. Good night. You're live on here.
Bless up. Good night. Good night, military Kranky.
Good night, Mr. Boss. The boss.
All right. So Kranky.
Yes.
Me just a look for something now. Dan Kranky them own which football team them own?
Arsenal.
All right. And they also own the Denver Nuggets. That company,
Yes.
company, right?
Yeah, they own Denver Nuggets.
Los Angeles Rams out.
Yeah, and they own the Rams.
The Rams are one of them football team.
And they own the ice hockey team, Colorado thing there.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Because their ice hockey team won the thing there, the Stanley Cup.
The Avalanche, the Colorado Avalanche.
Right.
But them separate up them assets when they look for it, because I was just looking at something. And the Arsenal don't the top 50 richest team in the world.
Yeah, so we're confusing.
Separate those assets because the Rams
yes.
is the top 50 richest team in the world, but the Arsenal is not there.
Right. So we got to be clear on something. They say the richest clubs in the world, not the richest owners for those clubs. The assets for the clubs are valued separately from the assets of the owner. Now, the assets for the club are part of the owner's assets. So if you look at the Kranky's assets, it will include all we just mentioned: the Rams, the Rockies, the Denver Nuggets, Arsenal, and his bunch of real estate holdings. And I think they value his assets different from his wife's assets, because his wife owns Walmart.
Yeah.
Part of Walmart ownership. So they probably value them differently. So we shouldn't be confused about the club's value versus what the owner's net worth is. They're two different things. The club is part of that network, but the owner's net worth is not part of the club.
Yeah, because even Liverpool run by Fenway Group or something like that. The LeBron James them and them, right? Because LeBron is a part of that. And Liverpool inside of it, but Red Sox, and them other assets, them they all over the place. But I think that I was looking to see if it was it was all in one group, in like how you have MSG network and the whole thing. But when we look at
it, boss, here's the example, guys. Here's the example. Yeah, here's the example. Who owns Mount Pleasant?
Huh?
Is the Englishman who owns Mount Pleasant, man? Isn't the Englishman who owns Mount Pleasant?
Yes.
So it's like you have, what's the value of Mount Pleasant? What's the value of Mount Pleasant versus what's the value of Peter Gould? Mount Pleasant valuation is different from Peter Gould's valuation. Just is one of the asset he owns. So Arsenal is like Mount Pleasant, and Peter Gould will be like the Krankies. So if you think about Mount Pleasant and their merchandise sales, what their value in terms of players and all that, I don't know what valuation method they use, but what's the value of Mount Pleasant as a football team? That'd be compared to the value of Arsenal as a football team versus Peter Gould's asset, which is just Mount Pleasant, just one of those assets. Similar concept. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, because you know what? In 2024, the Dallas Cowboys is $9.5 billion. But Jerry Jones' net worth in 2024 is $13.7 billion.
Right, because Jerry Jones has a lot of real estate outside of the Cowboys. He owns a lot of real estate.
So that is assets, so the net worth is when everything pulls together, right?
Yes. So Dallas is a big part of his net worth. The biggest part of his net worth.
Yeah, that is the biggest part, because that's $9. That's only the other business only bringing like $4 billion.
And even then, that $9 billion, unless because think about it this way: sometimes you have minority owners, you know. So if you have minority owners, that $9 billion may really be to you about $7 billion, right? Because you may not have all that $9 billion, because somebody may own another $2 billion. That's how most teams are actually. So.
Yeah, most. But he is the full only owner.
Is he the sole owner for Dallas? Is the only owner? Okay, that's a different story then. Then all $9 billion is his. Yeah. Unless he has like debt, and the debt is not part of the valuation. But that's another story. Don't get too complicated.
Bert says to you, Gunnar's boss, the value of the house is different from the homeowner's net worth, Gunnar's boss.
Yes. Similar concept. Yep.
Then I don't understand that already. Then that's why I go back and look at Bert to find out Bert. Yeah, go like a kindergarten school. Thank you for the information. Breaking news. yeah, man. I just when they had a conversation, we don't tell us, you know, they had means the unpaid intern where analytics and statistician or whatever you want to call it, producer, whatever. So they just produce some information while they're there and look up some things, you know. We learn a lot talking, listening to the show, you know, because sometimes a man says something, you know, but you see me as a man when me like to look up things, you know, as a self-educated person, you know. Yeah, I'm here, my name's man over here at the end of the day, I talk about bright people time. Hey, my name's man, let me tell you something.
It look like you never tell me that Gunners boss. You made a good point.
Remember.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying, no, this is serious thing now. The doctor, he's a comedian now. He was a brain surgeon over in our country over this one running from America. When him Dr. Youssef,
yeah, Bassam you're talking about. Yes,
Dr. Youssef. But
Youssef.
let me tell you something. When you come over here with a bright thing, when you someone up in children education in our track, because I can tell you this. Max Kellerman is a what his name? Pablo Torre is a Harvard graduate. Well, graduate from Harvard, Obama and Michelle, right? All right. A podcast, him at the outer street right now. And he have some little gig over ESPN. Let me tell you something. Bassem Youssef was a man with take out people's heart and put in heart.
Gunners
and dash that. And let me tell you, man, him dash that. And so now come over here with a bright thing, him dash that and turn comedian and become a billionaire out of the comedian
right.
And a political satire master. So here we are. Don't come over here, come tell with us.
Right.
So we are loser and we don't. But we don't need you to remind. We can remind ourselves.
Gunners,
Don't talk.
So listen up.
Yeah.
So there's a comment.
No,
there's a comment you made that I want to ask you about. What I want to ask you, what is the point of the comment? You said it's funny how the richest sports teams in the world doesn't have a European football team in the top 10. Dallas Cowboy is
number one. That's what I meant. But
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Fine.
Go ahead.
Dallas Cowboy is number one. Real Madrid is 13 and Barcelona is 15. All right. So let me see. Because what you're saying is that the top 10 richest sporting teams in the world are in America, in the United States of America.
That's what they're saying right now in 2020. Some of them move up in, I think Barcelona and Real Madrid move up, into the top 10 in 2024, But that was a 2023 stats of the last year. There was none of that was the two top soccer teams in the world up there.
So I think we're confusing.
Yeah,
I can say this. Barca is not rich. Barca is rich on paper, but they're not rich. Barca is poor, so they can't buy anybody. So I could have a house that's worth $10 million, but I have no cash. I have zero cash. All I have is my house. I have no cash. I have no money. I'm rich on paper, but I'm not really rich because I can't buy anything. I don't have any money to buy anything. Man's could have $1 million in cash, and he rents. He's much more liquid than I am. He can spend and buy stuff. But I only have a house. Unless I sell my house, which I can't sell because I won't live anywhere. I live on the street. Does that mean I'm really rich?
Management was going.
No, but I agree with Kranky. I agree with Kranky because the other point I want to make is also this. The Dallas Cowboy is number one. All right? Real Madrid is not there. Is it that the value of the Dallas Cowboy, if I were to buy the Dallas Cowboy team, right? Not the assets, because sometimes when you say that, when they talk about, because I figure that the Dallas Cowboy have a hotel that is associated with the team. The Real Madrid and those clubs may not operate like that. So the question I want to ask you, the team itself, is the Dallas Cowboys team more valuable than the Real Madrid team?
That's what he's saying.
Is that what is that?
It's not I said it, is that what Fab said, I just go by what Mr. Fab said.
Yeah, they're more valuable, man. They're more valuable.
Like so the New York
they're more valuable. It depends on the say you to the management. There's
Let me give
methods
you
of value in a company, right? So you could use, for example, the revenues to value a company. You could use different methods to value a company. They probably use the source of revenues. Go ahead, Gunners Boss. You're talking
No,
about
what I'm saying, if no, Gunners Boss, listen.
NFL teams.
No, so if a man says that he's going to buy the Dallas Cowboy right now, how much they would have to pay?
Them just sell the Washington. I can't tell you that. Them just, but it's a lot of money because they're not going to sell the team from on the market value.
No, man. Listen, what I'm saying is what is the like somebody was recently they wanted to sell Manchester United. There was a value associated with that sale. Is there a value associated with the sale of the Dallas Cowboys as a team, as a franchise? That's all I want.
$9 billion. Yeah.
9 billion.
Yeah.
$9 billion. Yeah.
Oh, and Real Madrid is how much? Oh, here somebody just answered. This is what I wanted to find out. Somebody said that Real Madrid is $6 billion. So it is, yeah. So there's a 3. That's what I wanted to find out.
Yeah. Gunners Boss posted before. He posted on 6.
Yeah.
So that is worth 30% more than 30% more than
Barcelona is 15 billion.
No.
In 2023. In 2023.
Oh, they are number 15. Number 15.
Number 15 richest with $5.508 billion.
Okay.
Right. In 2023.
So who are the
Liverpool
top?
is number 17.
No man. Gunners Boss. Make we ask you, we don't want you to tell you what we don't want to hear. The top 4, the top 5 teams in terms of value in the world are who? Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Who is number 2?
Number 2 is the New York Yankees in Major League Baseball.
All right, number 3.
Number 3 is the Golden State Warriors. Number 4, number 3, Golden State Warriors and New England Patriots tied with $7 billion each. Then you have number 4 is Los Angeles Rams. That's Dan Kranky team with $6.90 million. Billions we are talking about, not millions.
Yeah, man, we understand that.
Then Chicago Bears is number 6. That's another NFL. No. The NFL team dominate the top 10.
All right, the point I want to make is that could this be because of the revenue that is generated, which is I like for me, all right, here's what I see. Like the demand like to purchase one of these while it may be more valuable, right? Like if it goes out to be sold to the world, I think people could generate probably more money for Real Madrid because football is probably more popular globally than the Dallas Cowboy. That's what I'm thinking about. How does the popularity of the team helps to shape the value? Because Real Madrid, to me, is a bigger brand than the Dallas Cowboys. And how does that doesn't affect? How come that doesn't affect the value of the team? Yeah, so I have the list here.
I'm surprised because I was looking to see the European look based on the pound and the euro comparing to the American dollar. I was looking to see these teams up in there, so I don't know. This Forbes is an American company.
All right. Here's what Bertie said.
Forbes
article talks about most valuable. Gunners Boss is talking about richest. 2 different things. But
he's talking about he's talking about valuation.
I do most richest and most valuable. I check everything. So ask him. I tell you, make him counter when he said it. Wait, type it in there. What is wrong about what I said? Because I don't understand the difference between the richest and the most valuable.
Yeah, there's a difference, Gunners Boss. Kranky just tell you.
Then explain it to me.
All right.
And I go back and I said
the richest club may include things
the
more.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, go ahead. The richest. What do you mean by when I say they are the richest team? What does that mean?
The most valuable team,
So,
the 90 million, the 90 million dollar, the $9 million team is the most valuable team, and the owner, the owner is not.
Yeah, but if you value 9 million like Kranky is saying, but you can't buy a player.
First,
are you no? All right. So watch this, Gunners boss. Kranky use the example. If you Kranky just use Gunners boss. You have to listen, man. You're not listening, sir. You know, I realize Gunners boss when you start talk nonsense, the phone start disconnecting.
And your phone attack because I am not. I'm man. That's what I am not disputing nothing that Kranky said and nothing that anyone is saying. I just show out some numbers that I see and further and I said I was surprised to see that there's a European soccer team that's in the top 15, in the top 10. That's what that was surprising to me. When Mr. Wrong and right, we not dispute nothing, boss man.
No, we're not. Lord of mercy, God of God. I'm saying, just listen. What I'm saying to you is that my net worth may be more than Kranky, but Kranky can go and buy groceries. I can't.
Agree.
Because we don't have no cash.
Liquid assets.
All right.
You have liquid assets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, me don't see them. I know some words. I don't know what they mean, but me know them.
I think that is what Kranky was saying. So the value is mostly based on commercial side of the teams, which is what I'm saying, because the Cowboys and the American franchise will generate more from commercial deals than a football club. So I think that drives their value. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. Camille says she never knows the dunks man.
She never know that you're dunce. Why you bring up education night? We have a reasonable. We have a good.
My wife there, so my wife the right here, so she there, so me don't. So she says she never knows it. So me don't because she knows me already. Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Sterling.
I like that we bring the family to these programs. It's a good thing. You need to watch two programs. You need to watch two different devices so we can get the viewership.
My name's man. Repeat it. My name's man. Repeat what you said to Mrs. Sterling.
Good night, Mrs. Sterling. Good to have you watching on I Am Sure Sports. We are glad that you're just passing information to your husband to share with us on I Am Sure Sports.
So we don't find the brains behind the boss. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So like somebody we have encountered running for the JFF. But anyway, let me start.
Stefan Wright says there's liquidity versus equity.
Exactly. That's the one. That's the word I never remember. The equity part. But I know there's liquid assets and then you have the equity that are the money to back it up. Because we can't say we have a house, but we don't have $1 in the bank and we can't find $1 to buy the dinner. But we still have a house. Good.
Yes.
So we understand that. You know? I need the big words then to tell me them things. That's right, bro?
Yes.
You're right, Mr. Boss.
But the truth is though that the thing, this is what I think, like America is such I think American culture is so powerful because globally a sport like soccer is bigger than the NFL. Right, globally. In terms of the amount of people who participate in it globally is way more.
Right.
But still yet.
The eyesight and all of that.
Yeah, but still yet, like the NFL, the Super Bowl probably can generate the same sort of viewership as even the Champions League finals. I don't know if the NFL is bigger than it's not bigger than the World Cup though.
I wouldn't say maybe on a whole basis, but the World Cup final depends on how interested in watching. But them up there, the two of them up there. Maybe it's the World Cup final and the Super Bowl.
Huh?
Maybe the World Cup final and the Super Bowl. One off.
I think the World Cup final is way ahead of the Super Bowl, but it may be able to compete with the Champions League. But I will tell you, the Champions League touch more places in the globe than the NFL because a lot of the viewership in the NFL is really around North America.
Nah, man, the NFL is.
All right, Jason said that Champions League viewership is higher than the NFL. There you go. So, yeah.
As soon as me lay back, I look up that.
Yeah. In Kranky, what are the biggest? What are the biggest viewership? The World Cup, right? In terms of global sporting event.
Yeah, I would think the World Cup, the Olympics, those type of events would. But you got to think about the NFL is a continuum in the man. It's not a one-time event, Now once every 4 years, right? It's every year. I think the NFL generated about in 2022 about 18 billion. They're generating revenues across the entirety of their teams. So we gotta do a comparison. So I think the top sports leagues in the world in terms of revenue generation. And you got to take a one-time event like the World Cup out of it, Olympics out of it. It's probably the NFL, actually. I think the NFL and the IPL are probably the top in terms of revenue generation.
The IPL over
Major League Baseball and
over the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the issue I have now because so you're telling me that probably after the World Cup, Major League Soccer clubs could be valued more than the Real Madrid based on these things if because it's going to get more popular.
No, you wouldn't. But it's still soccer, man. I think about the sport, Things soccer. No, it won't be. They'll get more value, but it won't be more valuable. No, man.
All
the NFL
right.
make a ton from TV rights in the money's man. NFL make a ton from TV rights now. You got to understand the American purchasing power in the money's man. You're confusing that, And they've been selling their stuff globally, right?
Oh.
The purchasing power in the US is huge compared to the rest of the world.
Whoa.
Even though the US is only 300 million people, 330 million.
All right. Hold on, Gunners Boss. Just hold on. Soon say some of the Champions League viewership is almost 5 times higher than the Super Bowl. Last year,
Money's man. We're comparing apples and oranges. Compare the NFL playoffs. Guys, compare the NFL playoffs with the CL. You can't say CL viewership. What does that mean? Is it Champions League final?
The Champions League viewership.
Is it the final, man?
He said last year it was a Champions League over 700 million viewers worldwide. Super Bowl was 155 million. I think that is the final.
But man, that's one game.
But the Super Bowl is one game.
But how much money you're generating from your league, man, not just from one game.
All right, man.
What?
Let me show you a little thing now. Because as of 2023, the world most watched sporting event in the world are World Cup Soccer have 5 billion viewers. Tour de France, that are cycling over there, so with Lance Armstrong, have 3.5 billion viewers. Cricket World Cup is number 3 with 2.6 billion viewers. Women's World Cup have 2 billion viewers. Summer Games, 2 billion viewers. Winter Games, 2 billion viewers. Then you have Champions League behind down there. So Champions League have 4.5 million and the Super Bowl have
150 million. I think when they say 4.5, it's 450. It's 450. When they say 4.5, it was 450 million. Yeah, not 4.5. Yeah.
400.
So money's man and Gunners Boss.
And then you have the Super Bowl at number 18 with 100. Huh?
You guys keep comparing apples and oranges.
And just on television, even. Yeah, but you still have to. When we are trying to say stand Kranky, we still have to look on it. These viewing and these ratings now is skewed all over the place, because it's not everybody is watching on television, So how you know if people are watch the games and all different kind of streaming service and all different kind of things? So how can you calculate around things now?
So, okay, let's deal with money. How much did the Champions League generate in revenues last year? In 2023? How much did the Champions League generate?
When I say Champions League, when I say this
the
is
entire
what,
league, all the games they played from the first round
all
to
right.
the final.
So here's the issue I have with that. This is what I was saying, because when you talk about revenues, you're going to talk about advertising. And I'm saying that this is where American sports will have greater value, because the advertising money is way more than the Champions League.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when you're quoting, wait, management, we're quoting viewership doesn't mean anything. You can have 5 billion viewers, and I have 100 million, and I generate more money than you do. You know the IPL generated 9.5 billion last year, man.
So
the
Real
IPL
Madrid
generated
beat
9.5 billion last year.
Real Madrid beat Liverpool in 2002. It was 700 million viewers.
But it doesn't mean anything. A bunch of poor people. Sorry, I hate to be that crass, but money's money.
Wait a second. The viewers, we over here, we are
Kranky. Look at this. For the 2020, the UEFA Champions League accumulated 606.3 million in sponsorship revenue. How much did the
How much did the Champions League make last year in revenues?
See, telling you just in this is the only figure we have from the press. He said that
how much money they this is just sponsorship. How much money they made in revenues last year in total?
What would I find that? Check the light and touche.
Yeah, check whatever source you have out there. I bet they don't make as much as most teams do. They don't make as much as NBA, NFL, IPL, Major League Baseball.
Here's what I'm asking you though, Kranky. Somebody saying that they made 3.5 billion.
They made no money. IPL made 9.5 billion.
All right. What drive?
IPL made 3 times Champions League.
But
who play cricket now? Man, who play cricket nowadays? Nobody play cricket except Indians, and nobody play cricket nowadays.
No, but here's the point I'm making though.
Yeah.
A lot of the revenue, because if you probably check the attendance, like the Champions League, the attendance and viewership may be way more now.
Yes.
Than all right. So
yes.
what then? Here's my question. What then would make the thing that is viewed more expensive to attend, have more people attending, have less revenues than the other event? A lot of it is because it's American and they put a lot of money behind the stuff. So here's
it works. So if you have Sportsmax in the Caribbean, going to 3 million people, paying average of $50 for their cable TV, and the US pay about $100 for your cable TV, management. You don't get much more revenues from the advertising stream of revenues in the US versus in Jamaica for an equivalent population, right? That's how it works across the world. So the people across the world who are viewing it, a lot of them probably don't buy the merchandise they're going to buy someplace else, management. The advertiser is going to pay you much more revenue, much more money to advertise in a given market that has the income to pay for the products they sell.
But Kranky, logically though, the Champions League have greater viewership than the NFL. So why then aren't the advertisers? Like I tell you this: if the companies in America were looking to like dominate Europe and other places in the world, advertising, promoting, and putting money in the NFL would not be the answer. It would be the Champions League. But they are not putting it.
Back up. We have audiences that has money to spend, disposable income. How much disposable income you have in a poor country versus a country that has a lot of wealth?
But when I say poor country, but it's just the USA, Kranky, compared to all. Listen, you're using one country to compare, and you're measuring them against all the other countries in the world. Because every other country in the world, you'd say, watch the world.
You don't think they watch football in Europe?
Which NFL?
Yeah.
How many
they play 3 or 4 games a year in London, don't you?
In London.
And they all sold out, by the way. No, they are sold out.
And Germany.
No, you know that the Sky Sports is an NFL channel in the UK. You know that. But wait. You know they watch NFL in Germany. You know they watch NFL in Europe, management, just in general. You know they watch it and have channel dedicated to it.
They play like 2.
No, come on, man. You can't compare. It's just like I'm saying that that they watch football on the Isles of Men.
Man, you're missing the point. They buy their merchandise.
Kranky.
Man, you know, man, you know, there are people in England. You know, Apollo and Tony know more about NFL football than you do.
What?
Do you know
Kranky.
Apollo and Tony know what NFL? Tony's nephew played for the Giants. Cousin played for the Giants. His nephew, cousin played for the Giants. Apollo's a Washington Redskins fan. Used to comment on them and write for them.
So
Man,
because
you have a misconception of people's view across the world about these sports.
so what you're trying to convince me that people
I'm telling you, I'm not convinced. I'm telling you.
you're trying to convince me that people across the world
No,
watch
let's manage that
consume
concept.
the NFL.
Let's manage that communication across the world. I'm saying there's many more people in the US watch the sport than you think do so. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying the people. Why?
Money,
Why?
man, why did China? Why when Morley from Houston made the comment about China and Hong Kong, did you see him get chastised, man? You know how much merchandise NBA sell in China? China has how much billion people? You know how much merchandise sell there?
But they don't sell more.
But
They don't
more-
sell more things than football, soccer clubs or football club do.
Man,
But
I think you're missing
Maury was
something.
the one who bring China into the NFL when he drafted Yao Ming for the Houston Rockets. So he was the one who bring
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is this, man.
It's because people in the NBA did not want to stand up for it. The stars per se, because they have other ulterior motive and want to sell their stuff to China, their movies.
Yeah, it's money. It's money. Money's man. Money's man.
Darrell Morey is the most educated on the China and the Uyghur and all those things that's going on that he was talking about. He's more educated than anybody talk about that thing. Yeah.
Here's the point I'm trying to make, guys, which is this. The American market is much bigger than money's man think it is. It's huge. The American market and people gonna us back this for a second, man. Jesus. The American market and the purchasing power in America is much bigger than money's man thing. And America nowadays has been selling its sports globally for a number of its sports, especially around the NBA and the NFL. So the revenue, the percent of revenues in the US versus other parts of the world, they've been getting more international revenues than they've had in the past, and they keep on selling the product overseas to get more of that revenue. It's a fact. So at the end of the day, man, you have to look at the numbers they generate. NFL generate 18 billion. Champions League is nothing close to that. Nothing close to that. No matter how much viewership you're getting, it doesn't tell the true story of how you generate money, man.
That's why the most aggressive marketing campaign I see in sports is the EPL putting their games over the past, because about 5-6 years, or maybe longer. Somebody get me right. Putting their games on the American TV. We never see them come up with this Premier League mornings, them do it like that is where home did for you to sponsor the college game day and all them things that them come up with a Sunday morning time, you know, and them go to every city and then push that. Me never say, and that is what the NFL is doing across Europe right now. Germany and them places. Them going to Brazil this year, me don't know. Them are going to play a game of Brazil sometime this year. Miami Dolphins are going to play somebody over there. So them play a Mexico, them play over there. So them play a few places, and if you look on it now, somebody can look it up and see how much. I think it's over 300 countries across the world watch the Super Bowl. More than that, watch the World Cup. But that's the amount.
I mean, man is acting like he's in the 80s. Man acting like he's in the 80s and in the 70s. It's a different time. Everybody gets to watch everything they want across the world, man.
Yeah.
All right.
While the NBA, yeah, man, people are market them product now. People are put them product out there and put on screen. The show done?
No.
No, somebody's calling in. I think you get
the man them the one group call, like WhatsApp group call, and that cut you out just. Mommy be look like. Mommy be a bored, you know, when you're bored, you just call the group call, you know.
All right, Gunners boss, respect.
Yeah, man, respect, man. It was when I used to come over here right now, you know, see me the around. Me not challenge nothing, I try to learn something, because as I said, over here is like a schooling where it send me to some places to look up for some things, and it's all educational and and entertainment at the same time. So that's how we are doing it, you know. Big show.
Bless up, boss. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, man. Military stand. You don't know, man.
Yeah.
To you, sir.
Bless up.
Bert, say enough of you, man.
Yeah, man. Long time. Tell Bert to call in now and make we get a little bit of what I have to say too. Share your views, man. You're not afraid to call in. WhatsApp it cheap, you know. You can't go to your
all right, go down as well. At 35, at 35 minutes gone now, miss it.
Like, share and comment and invite your friends to come over and gone.
Hey, Manixman, you know what's interesting, Manixman? Is that if I talk to my friends in England, Manixman, they would lose their mind if you brought a Premier League game to play in the States. A regular season game, not preseason, right?
Yeah.
Nobody here losing their mind to bring an NFL game to go play in the UK because they know it's about money.
No, I'll
the
tell you.
difference in mindset, Manixman, about how I want my product to maximize revenues.
Yeah. What I can tell is that American culture does a way better job than marketing than anywhere else. If they decide that you're going to be one of the greatest in the world, the kind of marketing that they put behind that to get it out there, they can listen. They can make you believe that they have a just cause to do anything or to buy anything. That is it. That's American culture, and I think that is what they. So I think like I don't know if these are real value or the value is just based on American culture.
No. The values they do for companies, their methodology they employ, Manixman, to value companies, right? So you can value a company based on how much revenues they generate. So here's an example, a plain vanilla example. Suppose you have a business, Manixman, a restaurant. They will have this is how you value a house, Manixman. So if you value a house, this is a house, for example. The house could be based on what houses in your area were sold that are similar as to your house. And they maybe use an average of those, or what they call comparables to value it. Or it could be based on a rental property, how much rent you generate on an annual basis. And they may say, I could return the value of everything about a 10-year period, so maybe 1/10. So your revenues you'd get, if I want to return it over 8-9 years, they call it multiple. They use it as the base of the value of house management. So the value is not necessarily based on what you may think it is. It's based on what you call comparables or something what they call multiples. If I spend 10% of a year on my asset, then if it's 10 in 10 years, I get my money back, then that multiple may be paid 10 times whatever revenues you generate, for example.
Yeah.
So what they call different methodologies to value the asset management.
So here's what I think. Here's what I think. If Real Madrid were in America,
right,
I think their value would remain the same. If Dallas Cowboys goes to Madrid, their value would decline significantly.
Possibly.
So I just think it is some of that value.
But it depends. Though. If the revenue was the same, it would not change. The location is not what the criteria is for the valuation. Valuation is based on a number of factors, which can show over time as to what the worth is based on whatever that criteria you're using to value it. It's not a locational value. It's based on whatever factors used to value it.
Yeah. GDP of Texas, 2.5 trillion. GDP of California, which is just two of the states, 3.8 trillion. GDP of Germany, which is the richest European country, they say is 4.4 trillion. So that does goes to show.
Germany population is about 50 million.
Yeah. So it just goes to show that two states in the US
value more than Germany.
Yeah. And they are the richest. I think they're the richest
GDP. Yeah.
In terms of GDP in Europe. Yeah. All right, Kranky. Good 2 hours.
I mean, the US is much more bigger. That's why the US is so powerful, man. It's all about economic activity. That's why they need immigrants to come in and help with the productivity.
Let me ask. I mean, who are you going for the NFL?
I want Baltimore to win. But I'm concerned about Mahomes because he's a brilliant quarterback. But I want Baltimore to win. I want Jackson to win his first NFL title.
I want Mahomes to win. I tell you why. Because I want him to end his career and I think if he doesn't win this one, it's going to set him back. I would love for Lamar to win one still. That is why I'm caught in between because I love Patrick Mahomes and I think like he should end as the greatest NFL quarterback. But I'd love for Lamar to win. And I think
he's on a trajectory, right? He's won 2 of 6. He's on a trajectory, but Lamar is a brilliant quarterback also, and he's been a better passer this year than has been in the past. So my expectation is that given how good Baltimore defense plays, they should be able to get away. But Mahomes is a brilliant player. Brilliant player.
Yeah.
By the way, the owner of the Indians, the owner of the Mumbai Indians management,
Yeah.
his house is an office building. It's a skyscraper. His house. Seriously, his house? No. And it's in the middle of Mumbai. It's not in a rich neighborhood. It's in the middle of Mumbai. You have a helicopter pad on top of the building. It's his house, you know.
Yeah.
Like he has an office in there with his apartment. Yeah, it's just it's a skyscraper. It's crazy.
So in the center of Mumbai.
Yeah. Like when I was going to work, you could see they showed me the building. And it's a helicopter pad on it. It's a skyscraper.
Offices are there, or is just like
his business is there. It's all combined. His business is there. His house is there. Everything is combined there. And he has a big gate, but it's not like it's off the main road or anything. Because most of the time, those affluent persons would be in a gated community away from the Madden crowd. It's not. It's in the middle of Mumbai.
But there's a lot of security. Like, is it that you can't get
I didn't see any security. I'm sure they're behind the gate, but I didn't see any security up front. I didn't see one security up front. I'm sure they're behind the gate, frankly.
I'm just thinking if a man just trying to throw a bomb over there or something, that's what I'm thinking, like, yeah.
I was a little bit surprised because you're right. He owns a lot of different stuff. Telecommunication company, bunch of different assets he owns. Yeah. Bunch of different assets.
Oh, the one Steve Ballmer, owner of Microsoft and what, Clippers. Okay.
Yeah, his Microsoft shares are worth a lot actually. Yeah. No, Ballmer is richer than I thought he was. He was a president. He was a president of Microsoft, the CEO for a long time actually. Gave himself a lot of shares, that's for sure.
They bought up the shares.
Well, he gets a lot as part of his compensation, but he got more than I thought he did. Microsoft has been they have gone up 20 times in the last 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Very valuable company. They keep getting bigger and bigger. They're valued about $3 trillion now. So similar, I think they're ahead of Apple actually. Apple was the number one. I think they've now become the number one. So can you say Putin? He could be. You never know. He could, but he owns all of Russia. He owns all of Russia. I mean, we just don't know what his assets are. It doesn't mean anything to him anyway, right? It doesn't really mean anything. Other people can enjoy their assets. I don't think he can enjoy his that way. So Kevin is asked, management, this question is for you.
When is the Reggae Boys' next game? Their next official game is the Nations League games.
No, don't they play Trinidad? What do you mean?
With the Reggae Boys?
The logo, they're not the Reggae Boys? Or what you call them?
No, that's the next official game. So
it's unofficial?
Yeah, because it's not like a FIFA. It was a friendly, so it's not like a FIFA window. It's not one of those who adds or take away a point from your standing or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the next.
So when are we going to get some news about this management? Because you guys have been pretty silent. We're now almost in February. The game is going to be the month after February. How are things coming along?
Huh? With what? With the team?
The game, the Nations League. Are we quiet on that front in next month?
In terms of what?
Just information.
Like where the game is going to be played.
You want me to start asking real information? You really want me to ask it? You really want me to ask information? Okay, so I'm going to be the fan asking question. So man.
Who coming in?
The team. Wait, no. You want a question. You want a question.
The one question every fan will ask. Any new players?
Exactly. That's the question. They're like, Nicholas is out. Gray is out. So what's the story?
They're for the greatest. No matter how they try to spin the question, it comes back down to this. Any new players who get them passport Blah.
Yes.
That's it. There's no other question from the fans. All the fans want to know.
No, it's not all the fans, because some fans don't want no foreign-born player. So it's some of the fans
Yeah.
want to know. Are we getting any new
But like
players?
I keep on telling people, like there will be players. There's almost every window that Hal Grimson, there are players who always two players, because that's how he break players team into the team where he doesn't bring in like several of them, but over different windows. So remember, Demari and Bowser can play in the second game once you get. Well, there is going to be a second game, regardless of what the result is, right? So it's very simple that you can expect that for that Nations League game, there will be two players who will be playing or will be in the team. Like this is the first time in the team, because every window he has done that. So there will be two players. Who those will be, you don't know. So I'll at least expect two of those, because you're going to have possibility if Mikel don't come back from injury, he's going to be out. You have Bowser, who not going to play in the first game. Demari, who may not be available for the first game. So that's three players right there. You know, so yeah.
Well, I think what people want to know, man, is how's the recruiting going? Are we going after the more prominent players who will not get the England team anytime soon, but want to play in the World Cup?
Yeah, like coach, and I always say this again. Let's go back to what we can always go back to what the coach always believe that the players that he wants in the team is the players, first set of players, all the players who are connected to Premier League clubs. Of course, those players are going to be harder to get, because if you're a regular player in a Premier League club, if you're a certain age, you're going to believe you stand a chance. We may not believe they do, but because you are at a big club, you are going to believe that you stand a chance. So you approach those players and the answer is the same. Listen, I'd love to. When I'm ready, I'll let you know. And, you know, and that is why I'm saying that sometimes the performance of the team is
I agree with that comment, by the way. I agree with that comment. Nice. You know, I don't eat pork. Well, I don't eat meat, period. But yeah, I love the analogy. We want the whole thing. No bone left. I eat all the bone.
Yeah, all right. Simon, thank you, Simon. Simon just told me. Simon just come and save me. You don't want me to say anything more. It's time for me to get my rest. So don't talk anymore, man, man.
Simon, if you have nothing positive to contribute, Simon, please be silent. No. Look, I think the fans are very enthusiastic and optimistic.
Very enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic and optimistic about the chances for the team to do well.
Are overzealous.
They know talent. Talent overcomes experience. No, it's not. No, Simon has become like a dictator. Simon is trying to restrict news, the transmission of news. I thought Simon was a broadcaster who would like to disseminate news, not restrict the dissemination of news.
Yeah, the people say, Simon, the people saying to me all of a sudden, the number of what's the deal has gone to. It's gone to.
There's no deal. The
deal or no deal.
No, there's been some FFP situation with Simon deals. There have been FFP restrictions on Simon deals. No more what's the deal?
Deal or no deal, sir.
No, but I do think the management would love to see some quality new faces. I think there are players out there can convince that they won't get to the England team, that they can play for us, frankly. And there is someone who wants to just come and play without thinking about England. Who knows? So we'll see what happens. By the way, management, I had a bone to pick with you. I saw with Hutchinson's brother come out and hit out against Arteta about not giving youth a chance.
Yeah.
But then when what's his name was in your program talking about, I so sorry I didn't come on the program, management.
Oh, when he was saying that Arteta has brought players through.
I don't know what Cecil was talking about.
That look a 15-year-old or 17-year-old guy.
Man, he gave the kid 2 minutes because the kid was close to signing a contract and he wanted to convince the kid to sign. So he gave the kids about 5 minutes to making the youngest player in the NFL. He wasn't giving the kid a chance. He has broken nobody in. Every other top manager has, except him. Miley from Newcastle, Bolo, Lewis, Foden from Klopp with all the players he's brought to. Arteta's not brought to one player.
Even Chelsea.
Chelsea's brought to.
Yeah.
They have not brought to one player he hasn't since he's been manager. And he's been manager now. This is his 5th year. Not one player has come to the first team from the academy since he's been manager. So I'm not sure what Cecily's talking about. Cecily must be conflicted because he has insight now into Edu. He has inroads to Edu. That's what happened to management. People get conflicted when they have access to the organizations.
What a true word. I don't know if that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the independent person who's gonna be bringing these things out to the masses. I'm here to get you information. I won't be like Dre anyway. I'm gonna be breaking news. breaking something.
Yeah. Hey, but Kranky's your show, you know, you're gone over 2 hours and all, you know. So what you gonna do?
Friday night. We're not on restriction. We're gonna leave soon, but it's Friday night. I'm not to go. I don't have to get up 4:30 tomorrow.
All right, because there's no
work tomorrow.
And there's no game. There's just FA Cup tomorrow.
Yeah, Jason Guna, top player. Wait. Hey, Jason Guna, and people may not want to listen to this because they're not Arsenal fans. But we played a Champions League game, which meant nothing. He didn't give one kid a chance in that game to play 5 minutes. No other kids get a chance to play. And he comes some cockamamie excuse about why he didn't give them a game. He's not supporting the kids. But even Man U bring through players. Arteta has not brought you one player. You can do we should do a comparison on show one day. So how many kids have been transitioned from the academy to first team in the Premier League and how many Arteta has brought through? None.
No, but Arteta, that is the issue I have with him. The issue I have with Arteta is that he wants. I think he has a problem spending time to build players because honestly, and I asked the question earlier, who has Arteta improved at Arsenal? Eddie Nketiah has not improved. Smith Rowe has not improved. So tell me, who has he improved? Saka has not improved.
I don't think he's improved. I think what he has done is a system.
Yeah, makes the team look better.
Yeah.
So I can't say, wow, I don't think Arteta improved Ben White. I think Ben White is still a liability.
He's not a liability, but he's not. We need a better right back. I'm more transformational right back.
Well, Jason Guna is suggesting that Ben White and Gabriel Magalhaes. If Arteta had a choice, Arteta would not be playing Gabriel Magalhaes.
That's funny, isn't it? So Magalhaes didn't play the first 3 game management. And you get all these excuses from the Arsenal fan about why he didn't play. Apollo want to lecture me and tell me. By the way, Apollo is somebody who in the UK who has his own channel.
Arsenal 101.
Arsenal 101, and we normally go on his channel. Trying to inform me and educate me about why he didn't. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that nonsense. Play Partey at right back. I don't want to hear that nonsense. That makes no sense to anybody except Partey.
That's probably why Partey got injured.
You never know. You never know. It makes no sense. It's crazy to see this manager make some strange decision and then he gonna get credit. But he didn't play Saliba. Oh, it was a brilliant thing to send him away for 3 years. Really?
Madness.
50 million by Ben White, who eventually can't play the centre-back position bought to back to play, right? 50 million management for a right back. 50, and he's not a real right back. When he had Saliba could have come in and play, who won Young Player the year in France, the same year that he sent him away to Siberia. It's crazy.
Like even Cure, Jakob Cure, he hasn't improved him. Like
now, he needs to sell him. He's selling.
But you know that
Kiwior, they need to be sold.
You know that Arteta has made some bad purchases though.
50 million for Ben White, 20 million for Kiwior, 30 million for what's his name? For Vieira, 65 million for Havertz. And by the way, management,
And Real, you're not putting Real in there.
I don't know if Ray's a bad buy. He only cost 20-something mil, but I don't think he needed him.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe it's a bad buy. But here's the thing, management.
Zivchenko.
It's a mix. Brilliant on the ball, can't defend.
Bad buy. We need a defender.
Timber's a brilliant buy, by the way. Management, did you hear me preaching about him?
If he ever ends up playing.
No, it's a brilliant buy, regardless. Management, you can't account for injuries. I said before when he Roberts, they should have bought Kudos, management. Kudos is less than 40 million, management. I've been saying this forever, and I said it to Apollo way before Kudos went to West Ham, and we went about Havertz instead. I saw Kudos in the World Cup. I saw Kudos in Holland, brilliant footballer, and you can see it now, playing for West Ham. I have no idea what about Havertz, who plays in slow motion. He's not dynamic, not what we need. But anyway, we could talk about this all night, management. Look, everybody makes bad buys, as we know from Ten Hag, who is a master of bad buys, right? Brilliant at making bad buys. He's an expert. But I think Arteta's gotten away with certain things which he shouldn't get away with, because we did brilliant last year, and we're doing okay this year. Who is Shag? Who's saying Shag? Is he? Oh, Ten Hag. No. Ten Hag. I said Ten Hag is brilliant. Ten Hag is in a class by himself. He bought Anthony for 80 million. He bought Casemiro for 75 mil. He bought Mount for 50 plus mil. It's amazing, actually. That's 200 million pounds down the drain, basically. 200 million pounds. That's a lot of money in the management. You know, the turnover is about what, 700 plus mil, whatever the number is. It's a lot of money. And by the way, the wages is off the chart. Casemiro couldn't believe how much money he's making. 400,000 pounds a week. Crazy.
Yeah, and Bruno is on a high salary too.
Yeah. So is Anthony. Other man's high salary. Yeah. I would say Havertz is awful. He's average.
No, I would say this because let me tell you what Arteta has done good. He has built a good system for the players that he has to get good results consistently. That I'll give him credit for.
Yeah.
Can Arsenal financially sustain this? I don't think so, because Arteta cannot build a player from the academy. He's going to keep buying and buying and buying. And Charlie Patino should have been in and around this Arsenal squad.
I agree. He's a very good player, by the way.
Very good player. Should have been in and around. I can tell you, if Wenger was the coach, Charlie Patino that played in the Champions League. You can cut, you'd curse Wenger for losing the Champions League game, but young players would have played.
Yeah, I agree. So, man, with that comment on the board, you want to make a comment on it?
An idiot as a jacket driver told most Ethiopian do that well. His Majesty I regard. He also told me that they think it's funny that Jamaicans is as I don't have a clue.
Let me say, Mr. United, don't use the term Jamaicans. That's a very generic term, which suggests almost like all Jamaicans. You should say that some Jamaicans, minority of Jamaicans, because it's not the majority, will view the person with that status. And that's their belief, right?
Yeah.
Some people may say the same for Jesus. And people think that I say that is heresy, and they lose their mind, and they run off the channel. But that's just that's all life is. Everybody has their view. You say Selassie, I say Muhammad, I say Jesus, I say something else. It all depends on how you think about this. So we should never denigrate anybody for their belief, because Jesus was also deemed to be in that society, not with the same reverence. So you never know. So that's what just came later. That's came later.
Hey, let me tell you. Hey, listen. Let me tell you. You know that the people in the comment section on my channel, most of the times, the trouble, the Oxford graduate, when the Oxford graduate go on platforms, the Oxford graduate don't challenge the comment section, It's Kranky and management.
Who's the Oxford graduate?
He went to KC.
Who's that?
Not the KC in Jamaica, the KC in England. In England.
Oh boy. But in England, I say no. Jason said Elgund. Jason try to type fast.
No, that is how it. No, man. You didn't see what time he spelled England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have a case in the US too, you know. They have a case in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Colonel Chicken, not Colonel Chicken.
No, well, yeah, that too. And the Colonel probably spelled with a K, not a C. It's not CC. Oh no, but by the way, I want to say this to everyone. The Jamaica ambassador, the US ambassador to Jamaica, my next man, is which high school did he go to in Jamaica? You know?
Mannings.
I mean, what, he went there to give a speech? I didn't know he went there to give a speech. No, I've met him a few times actually. Good person.
Okay. For KC.
Yeah, from a KC. Yeah, good dominant player too. But no, good person.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting. But I do think the EPL is going to be interesting for the rest of the season, man. Very interesting.
I think if Thomas Partey is fully is fit, Tommy also comes back, and Arsenal can finish the season with even if they don't get back Timber, but everybody else is fit. I think we can be in and about. There.
I think everybody's fit. We have a problem, man.
Huh?
If everybody's fit, we have a problem. You know why?
The coach.
Yes. Who's going to play in the sixth, man? Who's going to play in the sixth?
Thomas Partey and Declan Rice.
I don't know who's going to play the sixth. He going to play double pivot then?
I think he's going to do that. No. He's going to play like Declan Rice as an 8, and then Odegaard up top. So Declan Rice would play where like Granit Xhaka would drop back when Zivchenko comes inside.
But is Rice really an 8? Rice is not an 8.
Yeah, but I think because he's a good ball winner, and then Odegaard wouldn't have to be trapped because Odegaard is doing a lot of defending, which I don't think is part of his game. I think he would do that and then use Kai Havertz sometimes to replace Gabriel Jesus, which is why I think he can sell Eddie Nketiah because he'd play Kai Havertz as a striker, like what they call false 9.
Right.
I
know where I play Kai Havertz. I have a place for him. It's a really good spot for him.
Don't tell me. I think I know.
I think he should sit at the left side of Arteta. He should play on the left side of Arteta. None of the 8, wherever the left side of Arteta is on the bench, that's where he should sit. He should not be in the field.
But I think if we're not going to buy a player, then you have to play Partey and Declan Rice.
Yeah, but man, he wasn't playing Partey in the 6 when he was healthy. He wasn't. And him playing an inverted right, which makes no sense to anyone. Because he could afford to do that. Because you know what he does? He was going to play Timber in a back 3. And then use the right back as the inverted versus the left back as the inverted. Because Timber can play center half. That's what he was doing. He was playing 3 at the back. And played inverted.
Yeah. And they were defending Partey.
Right back. Yeah, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. I think what he should do is play what I call a 7-4 man. You play a 7-4. You play 4 defenders with a goalkeeper, a double pivot with Partey and Rice, and tell the other 4 people just go play football. Martinelli, Jesus, just go play. Don't worry about defending, just go play. We have 7 people to defend, we're good. We have 7 real defenders, we're good.
And I think I can't understand why sometimes he doesn't play Trossard in like you know, Pep does that sometimes where there's no like out and out striker.
Right.
I think he has even tried that with even Kevin De Bruyne before. He has used
But he was
Bernard
doing it when he didn't
Silva in
have
that
Holland,
position.
right? Or Alvarez. He was doing it when he didn't have those two. Now he has,
Yeah.
he has strikers. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would do that and then play Trossard in there.
No,
No,
we're
no,
not
it's
calling
not.
Arteta to be fired.
No.
We're calling for him is to improve. We're calling for him to improve in his game management and his team selection.
I like the fact that he's really willing to live by his decision. You understand me? So
But we're not. We're not.
he got rid of some toxic players that maybe some other coaches would have kept at the club.
Yeah, yes. Now he got our players he should have gotten rid of, but we could have gotten better. We could have gotten better outcome in terms of financial
Yeah,
compensation.
but that is true. But you know that except for Granit Xhaka, you know, the player that Arteta has released, you know, all of them you'd say have gone downhill, you know. When last have you heard about Pepe?
Now Pepe has not done well. Pepe has been injured though quite a bit. I would say this.
Balogun, you don't even hear like Balogun scoring any goals anymore.
Balogun has not played well for Monaco actually.
All right. Where's Ainsley?
Ainsley is lost.
All right. Joe Willock was injured, but I mean,
Joe Willock has been very good for Newcastle actually. Very good for Newcastle. That's it. Joe Willock being injured is part of their problem because Willock was a starter. Even with all the players they've bought, Willock was a starter. Willock has been very good. Better than Havertz, by the way.
Lacazette struggling to score goals this season.
He was scoring a lot of goals at one point. Not sure what's happening now. No, he was scoring a lot of goals.
Right.
So was Aubameyang, by the way, scoring goals.
Who again? Let me see who again. Rob
Holding has 9 goals in 16 games. No, he's scoring goals. What are you talking about? Better than Jesus and all our strikers combined. He has 9 goals in 16 games.
Where's Rob Holding?
By the way, he had 27 and 35 last year in League One.
Yeah.
So he has 36 goals in 51 games. If our strikers have that, we win the league. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Where's Rob Holding?
I'm holding something at Crystal Palace, I think.
Same thing.
Chambers too has not played.
Chambers. Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of the players.
A lot of them we get rid of, but I just think Neto. I mean, he gave him away. Which goalkeeper in the Premier League will start to get sold for less than 10 million?
Neto?
Not Neto. What's his name? At Fulham.
Leno.
Leno was sold for less than 10 million. Which goalkeeper in the Premier League starts and get paid sold for less than 10 million?
Yep. Yeah. Leno has done well. Martinez has done well because he released Martinez as well.
We sold Mavropanos for what? 3 million?
Yeah.
Whatever the number was?
Well,
he's not starting for West Ham.
Well, he was on loan before Arteta got there. But
I know, but we still sold him.
Yeah.
Still sold him. We sold, what's his name that went back to League One? What's the kid's name who had a fight with Brighton and they played Brighton?
Guendouzi. But he has gone downhill as well.
But he was valued much more after we sold him than what we sold him for.
Yeah, because you don't even hear about Guendouzi anymore.
We gave away Aubameyang, and Chelsea bought him for 10 million. We gave him away for 0. We give away people and people paid money for them. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
And they're going to give away Mohamed El Neni too.
Yeah, we'll give away El Neni. We're going to give away, we will pay the money for him, the right back that we got from Southampton.
Oh, Cedric,
yeah. We're going to give away players continuously.
Same thing with Nunes. What's his name? That the left back? Nuno Tavares.
No, we're going to get some money for him. Question is how much. But I'm sure people in the chat don't want to hear about Arsenal. They want to hear about United. One of my favorite teams. I hope they continue in the direction they're continuing. United is I think United is our biggest nemesis, not Chelsea, not Tottenham. Even though Tottenham is the more hated. And I love when United is going. I hope they continue that direction.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're almost at that time management. It's 11 o'clock.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it's after 11.
Yeah. So, and I know you've been on since you were on today for a couple of hours. I see you had on what do I call it? Yeah, let me just call his name. You had a Rudolph today, actually. How's Rudolph doing? Is Rudolph happy about the what transpired with the election situation? Is he optimistic still?
You know that I tried not to get into the election thing, you know.
I'm sorry to come on because I was going to ask him. I have to get into the election thing. It's part of what's happening in the football.
No, man, he will talk to you, man. He said, Kranky, I'm general, you know.
What? In terms of what? Gotta get me positive.
No, positive. He said, no, man, if Kranky want to talk to me, just let me know, man. Me talk to Kranky, I'm a general. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. So, I don't know. Because the man call him general, but him no answer Tigat call. You know, Tigat said jealous.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Tigat said call one of that getting through, but Tigat say him not happy. You understand? When the man come on the show, could call out speed. We can't believe the man. The man come on the show to tell the man, say, him a call the man and get through. Oh, jeez.
Well, you know, Tigat has no filter, right? He has no filter. Hey, Ernest, you have been dead for rise again, or not? I'm not dead yet. Not dead yet, Ernest. You're on the way to dying, but you're not dying yet. You have too much money to die, Ernest. You can't buy your way to a problem.
No, you know what? Hey, Kranky, just the other day I was I support Brazil, you know, and I was saying to myself, look at Brazil front line. Anthony.
No good.
Richarlison.
No good. No, sorry. Okay. I'm saying that good. He's okay.
Gabriel Jesus.
He's okay. No, he's good, but he can't score goals.
So, all right. Rafinha not even scoring a heap of goal at Barcelona.
Yeah, they're lacking up front. But they have Vinicius Jr. They have Rodrigo.
And what again? That's it.
Yeah, but those two players start from Real Madrid.
Good. Joe Hilton don't score a lot.
But he plays midfield now. He's not a forward anymore.
But him don't play good in midfield for Brazil.
Well, for Brazil, but he's played really good for Newcastle. Him and Guimaraes and Paqueta, that should be their midfield, you know? Paqueta, Guimaraes, and Joelinton should be their midfield. I think Paqueta, man is man. We should have bought Paqueta or kudos. Paqueta is a brilliant player.
Didn't Paqueta sign to either City or City?
Yeah, City. He was going to go to City, but the gambling situation negated that deal. Paqueta cost 60 million, man is man. We could have saved 5 million from buying.
They can still buy him in the summer.
It was expensive. We can't give average away in a man is man.
Hey, listen, you know who Arsenal need to buy? That Fulham midfielder from Portugal.
Too
Paulinho.
Old. 29, too old.
Very good player.
Very good player, but too old. We don't need another, unless we're gonna get rid of Partey, we don't need another CDM who is not offensive minded. We need that number 8 who's dynamic. That's what we need. Kudos or Paqueta, we should get in that role. Go raid West Ham for those players. 60 million. You can't buy Kudos for under 60 million now. You know, they paid like 38 or 40 for him.
No, but they can get
the
former Lazio player that is down in
Savic. You could get Milinkovic Savic. Yeah, Savic is something they've thought about, and he's probably going to go on loan. You know, we could buy a management. We get a winger. We can buy some of the right winger. Who would they buy in a winger as a winger for Arsenal?
Good wingers out there. I would get Sane.
What about the kid that plays for Villa on the right?
Villa.
I think he's Jamaican.
No, sir.
You know.
You're talking Leon. You're talking Leon. I'm talking Leon. No, I think Leon would be a good, but Leon come now problem, you know, because if Leon want to start and Arteta not going to be in Saka, that is Arteta's problem.
He's not been in Saka now. Not going to be Saka. No, not happening. You know, Saka hasn't played well this season, by the way. His stats are great, but he hasn't played well.
People are always talking about.
That was a contradiction, actually.
People are always talking about this guy named Pedro Neto, and every time I look at Wolves, he's injured. Why would they buy him?
So Neto is dynamic, but he doesn't have an end product, and he's always injured.
Yeah.
No, man, he can get by defenders. He destroys defenders, but he has a little bit of Saint Maximin in him. in some respects, more consistent going by players, but he doesn't finish. He doesn't score. So it doesn't make sense to beat people and you can't have an end product. Saka may not play well, but he has great stats. Some of the ball get to the far post and somebody done it in and he gets the assist. Or he gets a corner, he gets the assist. He takes penalty, gets the assist.
Arsenal should try and buy Bowen in the summer.
No, I think we should buy Kudos instead. We need Kudos and Paqueta. Give West Ham 125 million for the two of them. Kudos can play on the right, he can play on the 8, and Paqueta can play in the 10 and play in the 8. That's what we should get. And we can win the league with those two players. Let's not fool ourselves and go buy players who are not gonna. Now, Bowen is a good player. He's got what, 9 goals in Premier League this season, which is good.
Yeah, I like him. I like he works because I think he works on both sides of the field.
No. He's a good player. He's a good player.
I don't know about Ward-Prowse. I like Bowen.
Yes, Claudine is Saturday. I don't work. I don't get up early.
I would get him. I would get Bowen and thing there. Douglas Luiz.
Douglas Luiz is a good player. Very good player.
We've
been trying to get Douglas Luiz for a while now.
He'd be a good 8.
He's a very good 8. He's a very good 8. He could be a good 6. He could be a good 10. He's just a good midfielder, period. But they play 4 across now. They don't play. It's a really interesting construct that Villa has, right? Between Kamara and McGinn and Douglas Luiz, who plays on the. But then they have a Diaby Bailey thing with. It's a really interesting construct. Sometimes they play Ramsey on the left. It's not a traditional lineup he has. Not a traditional lineup. But the team that impressed me most, man, who was the team that impressed me the most in the Premier League this season? Guys, put in the chat also. Which team do you think has been the most impressive team? Not just based on where they are, but based on how where they're coming from last year to this year. What have been the two most impressive teams actually?
For me, I mean, I would have to give Villa some credit, but I'll say, you see, Brighton.
Yeah.
The players that Brighton have, they're not supposed to doing so good.
Brighton has been good, yeah. Brighton has been good. Tottenham Wolves. Wait, so who said Tottenham Wolves? Somebody said Tottenham Wolves. I'm not sure what Wolves. Jerome, we said 2 players. You know, all these Liverpool fans just put their team alone. We asked for 2 teams, not 3 teams with this. Not one team with 3 labels of the names of the same team. Press says Bournemouth. 2 teams, people, not 1 team. 2 teams. 2 teams. I see quite a bit of Brighton here. Brighton. A few people say Brighton. I think the 2 most impressive teams in the league this season, given facts and circumstances, outlay, expectation, where they were last year, has been Villa and Tottenham. I have been impressed with Tottenham. Think about it. Tottenham lost Bissouma and Sarr, their old midfield. Son, who was probably their best player. When they lost their centre-backs, they're still playing well, still playing the same way, still playing with players from last year who were poor and they look so good. They're right and left back. You know what he plays, man? You know he plays 2 inverted, right? His right back and left back play inverted. It's like they're playing 8 versus playing 6. You look at how his team is set up. It's a weird construct, but really innovative.
Listen, when I watch Brighton play and they get it right, and I think about the people, the man who they have a little youngster playing in midfield. I'm saying that this is it's like a new team. They have they have Danny Welbeck. What's the other guy? Lallana. Like you think how this team doing so well? They lost Levi Colwill.
Lallana and Welbeck have played for England.
No, but they are.
By the way, so was Colin Chambers. Colin Chambers and oldie.
Yeah, that's that.
And Ainsley Maitland-Niles, but no, Lallana was a very good player before he got injured, and Welbeck was a decent player at Man Utd, and at Arsenal before he got injured. So they're injury prone. But I think Tottenham has been brilliant. They're playing attractive football, and no matter who they put on the field, they're playing decent.
What's the name of the Japanese winger that plays for Brighton? Because he has not
Mitoma has played well this year. Mitoma hasn't played well this year.
Exactly, that's what I'm going to say to you. He has not played well, and they're still
Yeah.
doing well.
They invest well. They find these young kids who are brilliant footballers, and they expose them early, right? They send them on loan for a year, bring them back, expose them early, and they're doing well.
Yeah.
They're doing really well.
Bournemouth is a team that, you know, they play a good football. They're not so easy to break down, you know. They have had some good results.
I was impressed with them against Liverpool, actually. I thought that Liverpool has been good against most teams, actually. Liverpool has been only lost one game. They shouldn't have lost any game this season so far. The Tottenham game was a poor decision by VAR. So, yeah, Liverpool should have been unbeaten this season.
Yeah.
They should have been beaten.
I don't rate Joe Pedro, that young Brazilian. I think
he's a decent player. He's a decent player. It means he was at Watford, right? He went to Watford first.
Yeah, he was at Watford first.
He's a decent player.
What? There's a time that everybody was talking about this winger at Watford. Geez, that Arsenal should buy him during that time when they were in the league. This which team he play for? Is Ivory Coast or Ghana? One of those teams.
No, you're talking about the kid from Watford.
Yeah, and they wanted Liverpool to buy him too. And where is he?
Yeah, Sar. You're talking about Sar.
Where is he?
I think he's still at Watford.
Senegal, eh?
Yeah, I think he's still at Watford. Ishmael Sar, yep.
Mm.
No, I think we played against him in a Europa League game, and he played really well. It's no different from the kid that we played against in Middlesbrough. What's his name? That is in Italy now, going to Tottenham. Spence played well against us, locked down marginally. Tottenham bought him based on that one game, I think. He didn't get a game on a Conte, and he's now in Italy someplace. So.
Well, Leicester look like they're coming right up back in a Kranky. You realize?
Yeah, they're coming right. Yeah, they are. But they didn't get rid of most of their players, so it's a Premier League team to play in the Championship.
Yeah. So what you realize is that Leicester, Southampton, Leeds, West Brom, the championship up on the top because from Leeds to Leeds is 57, Southampton 58, Ipswich Town 59, you know.
So I know his man. I was watching some highlights of Championship. You may be a bit too young for this, but in the late 70s and 80s, you know when they used to bring that match of the day in Jamaica. And,
yeah, man.
That whole environment,
not in the 70s though.
They brought in the 70s, yeah.
What I'm
not the game, but what I'm saying, the Division 1 that they had is the same feel as they have now for the Championship that they had for Division 1 back then. The same feel, the same sort of setup, almost like music, aesthetic environment. The Championship, like the whole Division 1, not the Premier League, but the whole Division 1 actually.
Yeah.
But no, it's Sarr is a good player. You gotta score goals to get recognition among his man. Can't just dribble past people. You have to be able to score, put the ball in the net. That's the stats have to be good management. Everybody look at stats, you know. When you have your contract renewal, it's stats people look at management. That's why Saka did so well. Getting paid 200,000 a month because his stats look well. 15 goals, how much assists?
Yeah.
That's what people pay for. They pay for outcome. So, all right, it's 11:23 management, which is a good night.
Yeah, all right. Listen, big up to everyone, you know. Yeah, everyone on the channel.
Thanks for joining. We appreciate you being here tonight and join us for the normal hour show for 2 hours. That goes for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. Appreciate you being here with a lot of good discussion on football and also cricket management before you go. See, West Indies management is trying a thing, as they call it in Jamaica, try a thing.
Yeah, sometimes you got to change and bring in some new blood, man. Good to see some of these young guys. Even if they lose, they have put in some, yeah.
But management, they have a chance to win this test, you know. Having Australia 55 for 5, management, it's ridiculous. You're allowed to score 200 and...
Yeah, but West Indies is like 45 for 5.
Management, we're not talking about West Indies, we're talking about what we had.
And we had 300 and something.
So we always collapse, either our bowling collapse or our batting collapse at some point. We've never had a game where both bowling and batting were consistent in terms of perform. Honestly, consistently bad.
Hey, but there's a big match. Just tell the people there's a big match in thing there, you know.
Hey, Press, what show is that, Press? What show is that, Press? Press, you have a channel? The Press. I've never heard of the Press.
Saudi Arabia versus South Korea will be a good game in Asian Cup.
South Korea against who? Saudi Arabia? Yeah,
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Well, didn't Japan lose in that tournament? Who did they lose to?
Yeah, but they still made it through. They're going to play Bahrain on Wednesday in their round of 16 game.
You know what's funny, Mannings, man? You know, those Gulf states pay a lot of money to build up their football team, you know. A lot of money, man. They buy African players of African descent, not players from their own country, man. They still can't get there. You know how much money they put in their football program? They buy the best coaches, they buy the best equipment.
What I find so because like even like Qatar playing Palestine. So when I think about this, like I was saying to myself, where the Palestine people trade?
Man, no, some of those people are outside the country, man. You could have picked a Jamaica. Man, me get myself in trouble. you could have England. You could have a Jamaica team in England, man. Jamaica team in England. You know, people migrate, man. People migrate. Oh, 50-50. 50-50. I know the other channel. I know your channel 50-50. What's the name of your channel 50-50?
The Press, they better tell us that's the name of my.
I don't look at the Press. I can't find it. Not Press. Not there. I just look at the Press on YouTube. I see the Press.
Yeah.
I see the Press. I see the Press. I'm trying to find the Press here. I should have known 50-50 was a broadcaster. You know?
Who you bringing? You have Nigeria versus Cameroon. Who winning that?
Nigeria. Cameroon has not played well in this tournament.
Egypt versus DR Congo.
That's a tough one. All these African countries that have started importing players, man. You hear me, man? All those countries realize that importation is not restricted to the major African nations. All of a sudden, just got good overnight in the man. Good
Senegal,
overnight.
the big game is going to be Senegal versus Ivory Coast. That's going to be a good one.
Senegal going to win.
Ivory Coast? No, man,
Yeah,
Ivory Coast. Wilfred Zaha playing good enough.
Senegal is going to win. Senegal has a better team, better, well-rounded team. A lot of top quality players in the Senegal team. Ivory Coast has a lot of good players in it, but
I want to watch the Mali Burkina Faso. I like Burkina Faso. I just like them. I just think they.
Mali's always good, though. People don't realize now. One of the poorest country on the earth, and they're always good in football. By the way, man, there's a question for us now. When it comes to Mali, actually, we talk about resources. Because Mali is much poorer than Jamaica, and still produce good footballers.
What are they born in Mali? Are they live in Mali?
Some born in Mali. Some born in Mali.
Really?
Yeah. Adebayor was born in Mali, wasn't he?
Sadio Mane, born in Mali.
Adebayor.
Yeah. But yeah.
A lot of the African countries now are bringing players from Europe. Yeah, what about Adebayor?
Adebayor didn't play for Mali.
Didn't play for
Togo.
It's Togo? I'm get my teams confused then.
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime, people. It's bedtime. You think I would know better with Adebayor?
Yeah. It's like, who was I talking to today? Mr. Speedy really watch global football so much, you know.
You watch Cavalier.
No. So he was saying, yeah, man. You know the other African player used to play for Arsenal, man. So I said, Kanu. Him said, no, man. Not Kanu, man. The next one used to play for Arsenal. So later down in the conversation, we say, hey, JJ, I catch it bad. Him say, yeah, man. That's
I catch a play for Bolton, right?
Exactly. When Bibi was there.
I don't know why I have Adebayor as Mali in my mind. Something is amiss there. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you remember the Togo team, what did they qualify for? Did they qualify for the World Cup, I think?
They qualified for a major tournament. I don't know which one.
I think it was the World Cup they played in, with Adebayor, no?
Could have been. They what? The 20. It wasn't the last World Cup. It got
no,
20,
man.
The one in Brazil?
I think they played in the World Cup.
It's gotta be the one in Brazil, right? Wasn't 2014?
Yeah.
2018.
I'm almost certain that
2022. Where was 2018 play?
Russia.
So 2014 was Brazil.
Was it? Which
Yeah,
one
must
was
have
in Russia? I think it was in the Russia World Cup he played.
2018 was Russia. 2014 was Brazil. 2010 was South Africa. Yeah. I think he played. They played in one of them, I think.
2006.
Anybody hasn't played football in a long time, though.
Yeah, it was 2006 they played in the World Cup.
Okay. They had a good team, actually.
Where was the World Cup in 2006?
2002 was Korea. 2006 was that in was that Germany? Where was that? 2010 was South Africa. 2006. No. 98 France. 02 Korea.
Germany,
right? 2006.
Yeah.
That's when Rooney got kicked out by Ronaldo tricking him and he did something stupid.
That was that.
That's when Zinedine Zidane was Zidane played 2006? Didn't he play 2006 where he
when he headbutted
the Italian?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they're in the same group with Togo. Because they defeated Togo by 2-0. Yeah, with Vieira and Adebayor met in that World Cup. Yeah.
Adebayor was a brilliant player. Money hungry, but brilliant player. Had the entire package. Skill, speed, good in the air, control, brilliant footballer. Jerome said, Zidane gave away that World Cup. Yeah, he did. He got into his feelings. Headbutted the player. But yeah, TNT was in 2006. Float management, that's correct. Yeah. Jamaica was in 98, and we keep hearing that every single year. We keep hearing about 98. What we did, we hear about 98, you know. We can hear about 98. We want to hear about 2026, though. Yep. So if we made a World Cup in 2026, it'd be 28 years after we went to the last World Cup. That is sad, actually. And it's sad. We have to do better. We have to do a better job in making World Cup. So we should be able to get into.
I like you say that though, because some people are saying that we need to win the World Cup. You're saying that we need to do a good job at making it. You're missing the dream.
Which World Cup?
The dubbing. I told them it is the domino one.
I don't think people realize, that the World Cup is only being won by 2 continents, and it's very similar teams. How many teams for South America we win the World Cup?
Less than 10 teams have won the World Cup.
Let's think of Uruguay in the 1930s. There's only 2 teams for South America who win it, Argentina or Brazil. That's it.
There you go.
And even in Europe, there's not a ton of team in Europe winning the World Cup. It's the same old team. England hasn't won since '66. So this concept that all these teams are going to win is not happening. It's now the Germanys and the France that you see, and Spain to a lesser extent, is the winning World Cup. It's not. The World Cup is not just. Nobody from Asia has ever won. Nobody from Africa has won. They haven't come close to winning. Those continents.
No team from Africa has been in the final. The other thing is that only Europeans and South Americans have been in the final of the World Cup.
Yes. And frankly,
all the World Cup finals have been contested.
Huh?
All the finals of the World Cup have been contested either by Europeans or South American. There has never been the next continent to be in the final.
That is correct. Morocco was in the semifinal last time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that is correct. Those 2 continents dominate, and that will continue for a little while still, I think. I'm sure the U.S. is coming to win this World Cup that I'm on, but it won't happen.
They're going to win the World Series.
Yeah, they're not going to win the World Cup.
But they will win the World Series of baseball, but not the World Cup.
Even that they struggle to win because Japan give them a hard time. No, it's at the end of the day, Jamaica can do better than first round, I think, if we get there. But that's it.
Hey, listen, people don't realize like places like Nigeria has way more resources and financial power than Jamaica.
Nigeria struggles from what Jamaica struggles from.
Okay.
Leadership. Nigeria struggles from leadership. Nigeria has a lot of poor people in management. Living conditions that poor people in Jamaica would find to be awful.
Yeah, but the population is what? Almost 100 times Jamaica's own.
It's what, about 200 million?
Isn't it around 300? It's 200?
No, it's not 200. It's about 200 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's Brazil.
So like probably what 80 or 70 times Jamaica's population.
Yeah. But Jamaica is a very unique country. But no, that's not true, management. That's not true. Jamaica population about 5.5.
No, but you do that now, you're gonna have to go to Nigeria, outside of Nigeria, because listen, I am telling you, the Nigerians them nothing.
There are a lot of Nigerians, yes.
I'm going to tell you this: of all the African nations, Nigeria must have the most citizens are people living outside of Nigeria. Like in Jamaica, we have more Nigerians than any other place from Africa.
No, there are a lot of Nigerians across the world, my son. A lot of Nigerians, especially in the US.
And it look like a lot of them go to universities because like
they're brilliant people, man.
There's so many doctors in Jamaica from Nigeria.
The Igbo tribe or whatever they are produce a lot of brilliant people. Brilliant.
Listen, our hospitals, you'd be shocked to know the amount of Nigerians who are doctors in Jamaica.
But management, it's not only Jamaica. If you go to all the standardized tests in England, they take, and the people who get those scores, those genius scores, they're Nigerians. A lot of them. If you go to Texas, they have a whole bunch of. They have a lot of Nigerians who do really well academically, really well, and have 6 and 7 degrees management. They don't get 1 or 2, They accumulate degrees. No, they a lot of them do. They're brilliant people. But they also have a lot of problems actually in the country. Our mutual friend went there, management, 2 years ago. She was telling me about her experience, management.
Oh yeah, the airport.
I have no desire to go.
Leave.
You have to pay money to leave, management. I'm not talking about fees, management. I'm not talking about fees, I'm talking about fees. You have to pay to leave. You have to grease palms to leave. That cannot be good, management. That cannot be good. She's telling me that when you're taking the plane from, I think they're in either Togo or Mali. This country's confused, She's telling me that they overbooked the plane. So they're taking a bus in Jamaica. We have to stand up and you can't breathe.
This is what people are saying. Yeah.
But they must stand up on the plane. They overbooked the plane. It's crazy. But no, Nigeria, a lot of smart people.
Yeah. What's his name is from Nigeria? That's on AFTV. Ty's
Nigerian. The guy that likes to dance is Nigerian. I think Ty's Nigerian descent. I don't think he's Nigerian born.
Kalichi
is Nigerian born. Kalichi say he say he has a doctorate or whatever.
Yeah.
They also have some fictitious degrees sometimes. So they're very careful. But Kalichi it's not only Kalichi, there are a couple of them there that
I tell you that oozing from Tottenham Hotspurs is Ian Goodison's nephew, Pepe.
Who is this Pepe?
Well, always make the heap of noise. I'm always on. Oozing, the Tottenham guy. Oh gosh, what's his name again, man?
I'm gonna tell you. Wait, Robbie's nemesis.
Yeah, what's his name?
Expression.
Yeah, he's supposed to call Ian Goodison uncle.
Expression full of lyrics, Expression is like a dope poet. Expression talk like a poet.
Yeah.
A lot of comeback. No, Expression is a fun person.
Yeah.
And he's become a celebrity. Expression. But no, a lot of those guys who are like that are either there were not mostly Jamaicans first, and then more Africans start coming across. So you see more Africans nowadays, but Jamaicans used to dominate in terms of people of color in the UK. But now the Africans are coming across kind of.
In England, it seems like there's a lot of Ghanaians and Nigerians.
Yes. But they're gonna go to English-speaking countries, right? They're gonna come, and then the Cameroonians and others, Senegal go to France, for example.
Okay.
But you have much more spread out. Yeah, they're gonna go where they have affiliations, right? That's what you see. But no, there's a much more Nigerians go across the UK nowadays A lot of them go for school actually, no man. In fact, one of them used to work for me. Actually, goes to school there.
But I am telling you that if you come, you will not go to our hospitals and not find a few night. Like it's amazing the amount of them. I'm telling you, when I say a lot, like you don't go to the hospital and don't meet a Nigerian doctor, and they are young.
They're like Cuba, man. They export doctors.
Yeah, I'm wondering. That's why I was trying to figure out if they have like a special thing in the country where they do that, the government like do doctors and send them over the world, because it's like a lot of them.
Yeah, they have a special thing called intellect.
No.
They export it actually.
Just like there was a time when I felt like all Cubans did medicine, because like you felt like if you're in Cuba, somehow you're going to end up in medical school.
But I think what people don't realize is that they invest in themselves, right? They spend time studying. They spend time doing the work. They spend time. Yeah. Some of it is innate intellect, but a lot of it is I put the work in, I get the outcome.
Yeah, like Chinese. Chinese are like them doing business, fast cash business.
But management, the parents are the ones who push them in. You never hear these NFL players talk about it. They say, I'm going to become a NFL player, I'm going to become a basketball player. They'll be like, yeah, whatever. Go become a doctor. You can do it on the side. Whatever it is, do it on the side. Go. You can do sports if you want to, but go become a doctor. Or become many doctors they talk about it. Not even lawyers much. Engineer or doctor. Yeah. So,
hey, Kranky, this is the last time we're saying all right, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's 11:41. So people, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Management's going to take you out as he normally does. And don't know when the next show is, but it's be in the future sometime.
That can't be the past. Anyway, people, this was Kranky time. You know, he spoke about the news of the day. Klopp, your hands, you know. AFCON.
We spoke about Klopp. Let me just get a recap. We spoke about Klopp resignation, about FA Cup and the EPL FA Cup, where Tottenham lost today, Villa and Chelsea drew. We don't want to care about the rest of the games. African Cup of Nations, they go into the last 16.
Yeah.
Bunch of good games. You should watch them starting tomorrow. Reggae Boys, World Cup draw. Dominica, I didn't know they play football. Dominican Republic, thought they play baseball. British and US Virgin Islands, I didn't know they played sports. And then Guatemala, who we know is a halfway decent team. There's a great draw for the Reggae Boys. And then for the Nations League and Copa America coming up, by the way, management, I must say this. It's expensive to go to those games, management. We start adding up today. Enough money.
I know.
So people in Jamaica complain about going to a game and it costs money.
For $15 for $10.
Stop it. No, man, on top of this, management, you're just thinking about the price to go to the game. I'm not talking about that. If you're to fly from New York, I'm gonna give people an example, to Dallas at this point, and you're not fly comfortable, not first class or business class, it's comfortable, it's $500. Then you gotta think about hotel if you're gonna go to both games, at least $1,000. Then you gotta think about rent a car if you want to get around. That's probably enough $300. Then tickets are $200 a piece. You're running what, $3,000, something close to that, if you want to go to both games. And we didn't talk about food either. We didn't talk about food, so it's not cheap to leave. If you're in Texas, yeah, it may be cheap, except for the game.
So let me let people. That is $500,000 Jamaican dollars.
I don't use Jamaican dollars. That's not real
money.
No.
I want the Jamaican people who are complaining that $7 is too much money to pay to watch the Reggae Boys. Yeah. $7. T-Got is saying that they should cut it to $3.50.
Why not say free? Why not free? Why not free, T-Got? Why you go to $3.50? Why just say free?
Oh my God! The man said they slash it by half, from $7 to $3.50. Are you kidding me?
Now I would say if you're going with a group, like how I think your friend is going, they may rent an Airbnb. I like to have my own room and my own space. But if you rent an Airbnb, you probably can get it for the same 1,000 split between 3 and 4 people, right? You can make it cheaper. Still can't make the airfare any cheaper.
Yeah.
And still can't make the tickets any cheaper. So now it costs money to go to games.
Yeah, man. So as usual, people want to say a big thank you to Kranky for being on 8:30. It started late, but so many of you came on, lots of views. As usual, we ask you to hit the like button, subscribe before you go. Thank you again, Kranky, to all the persons who call in, for those who message, for those who text. Appreciate it. And let me tell this, you owe the man some super chat and super sticker. Come on. So next time he's on, you need to do that. All right. Make sure you show him some love and support. Spread it, let it go viral. Cranky time, we call it, not the cranky hour. Cranky time. But I am man's man, that's Cranky. You understand me? Over there, the one with the red and blue. You understand me? I have the black studio. You understand me? So big up Gunners boss, big up yourself. Miss Camille, big up yourself, the brain behind the boss. You understand me? But as usual, when it gets to this point of the show, you know how it goes. We say we are over and we are out of here.
Boom, check it out. I don't know it's Jason. I'm a represent for I Am Sure Sports. For the latest news and updates, check out I Am Sure Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe and share. Jason representing I Am Sure. I Am Sure Sports.